describes us on social. Together, we can keep music in our schools.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day. Once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Can you remember any time in your life when you were starstruck?
One time I saw Peter Vesey, the NBA columnist for the New York Post. He was in the Herald sports department. I really liked his column, so I went up and introduced myself to him. Then one time there was Cousin Brucey from WABC, and I used to listen to him driving back and forth between Chapel Hill and Deerfield when I was in college. Everybody on the East Coast listened to him. I couldn't believe that I was in the presence of Cousin Brucey.
Do you ever play bridge anymore?
No, I haven't played bridge in a very long time. Nobody I know plays.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
So it's with great honor and humility, I accept this nomination for President of the United States of America.
You did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did.
He delivered a speech whose themes fit far better in an acceptance speech from Ronald Reagan.
You sure about that?
For Lord's sake, this is the United States of America. And there's never been anything we've been able to accomplish when we've done it together.
There it is! There it is!
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
I'm Hunter Biden.
And I'm Ashley Biden.
Joe Biden is our dad.
His son walked out with $1.5 billion to manage. That's millions of dollars a year. And the son didn't even have a job before that. He walked out of there in 10 minutes with
marijuana joints, pills, Quaalude, Valium, yellow ones, red ones, cocaine grinder, drug needles.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
Well, Mika, I'm really worried that there will be direct interference with the election through the manipulation of the Postal Service.
I thought surely you'd still be crushed under that house in Munchkinland.
Unchained and unstoppable.
We couldn't have done that deal had we stayed in this horrible deal done by John Kerry, who just had no clue as to negotiation.
I'm John Kerry, and I'm reporting for duty.
He never got up and walked. Once he rode his bicycle, remembered he was in an accident. I promised at 73 years old, I said, I'll never be riding a bicycle. He had the helmet, he had the names, the insignias all over. He had insignias like he was a 20-year-old great cyclist from France.
Can I get out of here, please?
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
That was from this afternoon in Arlington, Virginia. Just the president drove over to speak to these conservative businessmen, and it was just a laugh fest. I mean, I so love it when he goes after Kerry. It just, if anybody thinks he didn't come here to be made sport of, it's John Forbes live shot Kerry. And for him to just be dumping on him like that. And it's so true. It's so true. He was saying that the Iranians would come in and demand this and they'd demand that, and Kerry would just nod his head and do whatever he was, whatever he was told to do. It never occurred to him to walk away. He was not a negotiator. I don't even know how he ran the Boston Chipyard back in the day. That was the only business he ever had, was running a chocolate chip cookie shop in Faneuil Hall. Not that that's easy to do. It certainly all would be impossible to do now. All these places are going out at Quincy Market, Faneuil Hall. But he was not a negotiator. He didn't know the art of the deal. All right, 844-500-4242. The convention is finally over, and we will be talking about it. We got a lot of cuts to play, and you just heard they're talking about what a flawless performance it was, but you just heard it wasn't a flawless performance, right? We've never been able to accomplish anything. The text is actually on the teleprompter. We've never been unable to accomplish anything. But he said we've never been able to accomplish anything. So, again, the bar could not have been lower for Biden. And I guess he passed the bar of expectations. But there was no way he could ever deliver the kind of speech that President Trump delivered this afternoon. And I think part of his speech to the businessmen was teleprompter. But, the line about John Kerry thinking it was a 20-year-old French cycling champion, that's, think about it. It was great. All right. Okay, we have some breaking local news, and let's just play. We'll just go in with cut 57 to explain it. We're number one. The Bureau of Labor Statistics has confirmed that yet again, Massachusetts has the worst unemployment rate in the nation, the highest unemployment rate in the nation, bar none. 0.2 of a percentage point above the state formerly known as the Empire State of New York, our neighbor to the west. And then, of course, number 3 is to the south. All these states are contiguous in one way or another. New Jersey, which is governed by Phil Murphy, who is like Charlie Parker, a graduate, Needham High, class of 74 or 75, and then Harvard College 4 years later. And Massachusetts, let's play version 2, cut 58.
We're number one. We're number one. We're number one.
We're also number one for having shed the most jobs percentage-wise of any other state in the union. The red, white, and blue. Red ink, basically. That's not red blood, it's red ink. So we have lost 13.2% of our jobs. We've gone from 2.9% unemployment to 16.1%. That's the greatest increase of any state in the union. And again, the state formerly known as the Empire State was the runner-up. New York. They lost 12% of their workforce went unemployed from July 2019 to July 2020. But we have a kind of a big lead. New York might be able to overtake us in a month for the unemployment rate. Might. But I don't think anybody's going to get on top of us for the most jobs lost as a percentage of the population. I think
we're number one. We're number one.
Yeah. And we'll play some cuts as we go through the day of Charlie Parker talking about what a great job we've done. So we maintain the position, number one, worst unemployment, and number 3, worst death rate in the United States of America. And yet, Charlie Parker expects to be patted on the back. He's actually sprained his shoulder from trying to pat himself on the back so often. Good Lord. 844-500-4242. Oh, man. This is just, it's just, Charlie Parker, this is just driving me crazy what he's doing to this state. I mean, I can't believe it. I was here in the 60s, okay? I was a little kid in the not a little kid. I guess I was a little kid. And I remember it seemed like the whole state needed a fresh coat of paint. You know, it seemed like every week there were more factories moving out of the state. In Springfield, I lived in Western Mass back then, and in Springfield was losing all these big industries like Gilbarco. They made the pumps for Standard Oil, which became Exxon. They just packed up one day and left to go to North Carolina. It seemed like everything was packing up and moving and going to the Sun Belt. But then the state has come back, and the state was in pretty good shape. And I know there was this panic going on, but not every governor, not even every Democrat governor, responded by running around like a chicken with his head cut off and just, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. And this is the price we pay now. This state is now an economic basket case. 50 years of progress have been economic progress have been erased. How long is it going to take for all these little downtowns, like the one I live in and walking distance to? I was talking with the mailroom manager about this. I said, we have a nice place. It's walking distance to downtown. But what does that mean now? There's like one third of the businesses in the downtown are gone. You go out on Route 9, it's probably closer to 40 or 50% of the businesses. And that's the way it is across the entire state. Is anybody going back to work in those towers in Boston, those skyscrapers? And if nobody comes back to work, and they're not coming back, that's the end of all those restaurants. All the little mom and pop shops, a lot of them run by immigrants. Everybody in Quincy Market is on their last legs. What is it? Dick's Last Resort is gone. Durgan Park is gone. They were gone before, I guess. All these places that Cheers is gone now. Not the original Cheers, but the Cheers in Quincy Market is gone. So it's and this is it. And Charlie Parker thinks he's doing a great job. Thinks he's doing a bang-up job. All right, 844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. Well, one last thing before we move on and to the break. We'll take a lot of calls, and again, we had technical problems. They've all been worked out, so we'll take a lot of calls today. Dr. Matt, the vet, will be in for the final hour, and we'll take your calls about your pets. But I want to play this. Joe Biden came out with a bold plan last night. Many bold plans, but I don't think this one's going to pay off for him in particular. Cut 3.
We'll have a national mandate to wear a mask, not as a burden, but as a patriotic duty to protect one another.
A national mandate to wear a mask. Are you kidding me? I mean, he didn't want a mask in March. He said it was ridiculous to be wearing a mask. Karl Rove went down all the stupid stuff he said when the panic was just beginning. And now the panic's over. Everybody's wise to it. And he wants to extend the lockdown, basically. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
If you change the station, the Moonbats win. You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
AmeriClean Sanitizing is providing state-of-the-art sanitation for your home or business. Using the HaloSil fogging system, it is able to kill 428 different viruses, including COVID. Hospitals have been using the HaloSil fogging system for years, and now you can too. The fog sanitizes everything, including keyboards, under the desk, and even HVAC systems. To schedule an appointment or learn more, go to AmeriCleanSanitizing.com. Take a look at their videos at AmeriCleanSanitizing.com and see how easy it is to kill the virus. Recently, I had Global Marble and Granite install new gorgeous marble countertops in my home. Global Marble and Granite has the largest selection of marble, granite, and quartz on Cape Cod. They also serve Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, and all of New England. People are spending more time in their homes, so now is the best time to upgrade your kitchen or baths. Your home is your biggest investment, and Global Marble and Granite is ready to increase the value. Visit their site and see my kitchen's before and after shots. Go to globalcapecod.com or call 508-771-1001.
Cory Booker said it best.
There are definitely moments where you listen to Joe Biden and you just wonder.
Here's stumbling and mumbling Joe Biden.
David Duke, the former leader of the KKK. The Ku Klux Klan is the Ku Klux Klan. 8 more years of Donald Trump will change America in a fundamental way. But if Donald Trump is reelected, Freudian slip, and the demagogues around the world. We also have a mechanism to control drug prices. Folks at the folks at Health and the Health Department in the United States, HHS, they would put 720 million women back in the workforce. I never ever thought that I'd see what I saw in Charlotte.
Would you or would you not rejoin the TPP, yes or no?
I would not rejoin the TTP. Well, they're going out and getting G5 and going to dominate. I mean, what are we doing? The bills that the future president here, that the senator is talking about.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Who do you consider the biggest rhino in the Republican Party?
Probably is Paul Ryan. I wish a Republican were still the speaker, but Paul Ryan was scarcely a Republican. And there was a reason he was Mitt Romney's running mate, because we had a rhino ticket in 2012.
Where did the expression, "How many more, Mr. Speaker? How many more?" come from?
That comes from the State House. There used to be a state rep who sometimes would talk about atrocities that were happening in crime. And he would get up there and he would say, "How many more, Mr. Speaker? How many more?" And I just picked it up and it became a trademark.
Where's your favorite place to go out to eat in Palm Beach?
My favorite place to go in Palm Beach is probably the Honor Bar, which used to be O-Bar, and you can get a really great hamburger there, and they have a great coffee machine that brews each cup of coffee individually.
This is Deb in Danielson, Connecticut.
This is Greg in Boston, Mass.
This is Elizabeth in Wakefield, Massachusetts, and this is the Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. Talking about erectile dysfunction isn't easy. Good thing Roman makes treating erectile dysfunction simple, safe, and you do it from the comfort of your own home. Get a free online evaluation today at getroman.com/Howie. If approved, you'll get $15 off your first order of erectile dysfunction treatment. getroman.com/Howie. Jared, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Which Joe Biden insult best describes you? Damn liar, fat, junkie, ain't black, or lying dog-faced pony soldier?
I'm going to go with lying dog-faced pony soldier. I thought fat maybe, but I haven't been fat for a few years now, so I'm going to go with the lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Lying dog-faced pony soldier comes in at 40%, but number one at 44% is ain't black. Fat is 11%, damn liar at 5%, and only 1% of our audience are junkies.
And, you could have, in place of junkie, you could have said, are you on cocaine? That was the follow-up to the junkie question. Lord, 844-500-4242. People are texting in with other places that are closing. McGreevy's on Boylston. That was the guy from Dropkick Murphys. That's one of his bars. He's got a couple of bars, but that's one of his bars. His name is Ken Casey, I think. Someone says Triple O's is gone. Well, Triple O's has been gone for a long time. That was Whitey's old bar. They've had a couple of replacements in there since Triple O's went away. But it's do you mean that the replacement bar for Triple O's is gone too? I wouldn't be surprised by that. I don't know that for a fact though. 844-500-4242. Then people are sending me Facebook posts about bars taken down by King Charlie. The good news is the White Hut, the famous hamburger place in West Springfield just is reopening now. That's good news of the day. White Hut was named in a Wall Street Journal story just last weekend as one of the great hamburger joints of America, and I was wondering if it was still open or not because I hadn't heard about it much lately. But it's reopened, so there is a little bit of good news. So I'm sure Charlie Parker will get the mask police out there and try to shut down White Hut now that it's reopening.
There's a lot at stake here.
Yeah, shut up. Yeah, there sure is. There sure is. The highest unemployment rate in the nation. Incidentally, I tweeted out the entire list. It came out at 10 o'clock this morning for the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Last month, I had noticed that Maine had a very low unemployment rate, considering that Janet Mills is kind of just a variation of Charlie Parker. The unemployment rate in Maine was only 6.6%, but this month it's up to 9.9%. So that seems a little more believable, considering the economic devastation that she has visited upon Maine. And at least you can make the argument Massachusetts has 8,500 deaths, the vast majority of which are in the nursing homes that Charlie Parker is supposed to be regulating. But Maine has, I think, about 130 deaths. She's ruined the state for something that is killing fewer people than fentanyl. 844-500-4242. Gary, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Gary.
Hey, Howie, I spent the day yesterday in Boston. I cannot believe it. If Charlie Parker told the hospitals and the construction workers to go home, the only people left in Boston would be the bums. And let me tell you, I walked in the Common. I walked all over the Jewelers Exchange and things like that. Bums everywhere. Nobody wearing a mask. Where's Charlie Parker? Why isn't he out there screaming, this is for real, this is serious, put down that bottle, put down that joint? Where's the governor?
Well, it's like anything. These libs never go after the people that are actually committing the crimes or the antisocial. It's not the antisocial behavior in the case of the bums. They go after people like us that they can intimidate, and they only go after people who play by the rules. And that's why they set these stupid rules up. They're only to be enforced on people who will accept their enforcement. But now you're right, Gary. I mean, what do you think of? How much do you think the average price of of one of those condos in the Seaport District has gone down in the last 3 or 4 months, Gary?
Howie, why hasn't this construction slowed down? All these skyscrapers going up. I walked by Faneuil Hall. I noticed Coach has already packed their bags. So like in 3 months, all of these stores have packed their bags. But yet all of these skyscrapers are still going up. I mean, I know it's like a 2 or 3 year project to get these things going, but they're never going to get their money back. Never.
I know. I know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's the same in all these big cities that have been scarred by rioting and incompetent politicians. I mean, Boston less by. I mean, there has been rioting here, but it's. I mean, this overreaction it's unprecedented. Has a society ever committed economic suicide over nothing? As just part of as a religious cult, and this is the cult of coronavirus, the cult of the mask. I mean, there's no reason for the state to be locked down like this. There's no reason for the state to be plunged into the worst economic straits since the Great Depression. And it's all done as a result of government policies. Direct government policies, not screw-ups. They've done this to us. And they haven't lost a paycheck. None of them. I'm Howie Carr. The stressful summer of 2020 is winding down, but now is the perfect time to take off for some fun in beautiful Nantucket. Southern Airways fast flights from Norwood, Providence, Hyannis, and now New Bedford will get you to Nantucket without traffic jams, crowded ferry rides, or the need to quarantine. I fly Southern, and let me tell you, it is a first-class and hassle-free way to fly. So take off to Nantucket from friendly Norwood, Providence, Hyannis, or New Bedford airports. Book today at iflysouthern.com or call 800-329-0485. Do you have no water, poor water quality, or low pressure? This is Howie Carr. Call the local water service experts, Skillings & Sons. They're ready with 24-hour service with no extra charge for after-hours calls. And a fleet of trucks stocked with parts to make sure you're not without water. With over 50 years of experience, they take pride in having a family of employees that are the best in the business. For all things water, Skillings & Sons is there for you. SkillingsandSons.com.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Would you say you're more like your mom or your dad?
No, I don't think I ended up being like either of them, now that I think about it. My mother worked hard, but she never really learned how to make a lot of money, and my father didn't work so hard, but he had a good personality. He was good with people. He was better than me with people. That's why I'm saying I'm not like either one of them, I don't think.
Did you have any siblings?
Yes, I have a brother, a younger brother.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Well, all kinds of history. I loved all kinds of history.
If you could have 3 houses, besides the ones you already have, anywhere in the world, where would they be?
I wouldn't mind having another house in Palm Beach on Clark Avenue. Maybe a place in southern Maine. I don't need a third place.
Didn't you already have a house in Maine?
I did. It was on an island. It was not a good fit for the mailroom manager.
I've heard the house was haunted. Is that true?
Yes. And my wife didn't really care that much for my relatives. Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever, is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300. I've seen a lot of Anchor cupcakes in my day. Here are some of the latest network nitwits.
And he says, if I'm elected president, I will push for a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. Correct me, there already are term limits, so what does he mean?
And what are we hearing in the background? Is that shelling?
No, Katie, you're actually hearing that from here in Jerusalem, and it's actually fireworks going off right behind me.
We're in our tribes, we're in our corners most of our lives. I think we just heard some gunshots. Should we listen to that for a second? Control room? Is that not gunshots? Okay. Ivanka is not the second lady. She is actually, I don't think she deserves this position. She's actually a senior advisor to the president. So the idea that he would demean her specifically in that way, he shouldn't talk about the first lady that way. We aren't all here to make salads for men. It's disgusting.
I mean, I'm presuming he was talking about Karen Pence when he said second lady.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. Not Montana. I'm talking about no, never mind.
Yeah, no, Chester,
I mean,
that's Republicans could add to that.
I was getting Montana and North Dakota confused because, I don't know, I just was.
They're outlandish, they're outrageous, and they're hypocrites. They're the women of The View.
Bernie was so menschy in that moment, like a real guy. I actually am aroused by him.
Timothy McVeigh was a Christian. Just saying. Hitler was a Christian. Well, he didn't like the Catholics.
Trump needs to be medicated and hospitalized at this point, or he is going to just kill all of us.
I mean, do we have to wait till the hammer and sickle is on the American flag before we stand up to this guy?
Joy, you've worn blackface.
I did not go in blackface, please.
No, she was not in blackface.
Thank you.
It was a Halloween party. I went as a beautiful African woman.
Did you have tanning lotion on,
A little. I had makeup that was a little bit darker than my skin.
I'm hoping Dr. Jill becomes a Surgeon General. She's a hell of a doctor.
Whoopi, you said that Roman Polanski, it wasn't rape.
I know it wasn't rape.
Child molest, maybe? I'm not sure.
It was something. It was something else, but I don't believe it was rape.
Hold up!
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
781 has got a really good question here. Does Charlie Parker even realize it's not a good thing to have the nation's highest unemployment rate? I don't know the answer to that. I think he may think that he's, courageous. He's like the American officer in Vietnam. Remember that? The guy who supposedly said we had to destroy the village in order to save it. Charlie Parker sees him. Charlie Parker is destroying the state in order to save it. That seems to be how it feels. He doesn't care one whit about all the people who aren't working, all the businesses that have been destroyed. People have put their lives into these businesses, and they're devastated, and they're not coming back. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care that people aren't going to be able to go back to work, even if they have a chance to go back to work, because their kids aren't going back to school because the greedy teachers' unions want to keep the schools shut down and keep the vacation going on. Not all teachers, I understand that, but the unions do. We've gone from the Massachusetts miracle to the Massachusetts debacle. It hadn't taken very long either, has it? It's really easy to destroy something. Not so easy to build something up. 844-500-4242. And the Democrats are just insane. They had the Postmaster General today was in one of these virtual hearings with the Senate, with a Senate committee. And they've just made up all this crap about the Postal Service. And he never said that they were running out of money. That's never been an issue until the Democrats decided to make it up. And again, where are the fact checkers here? Where are the four Pinocchios being issued to the Democrats saying that Trump's trying to shut down the Postal Service? He warned the states that there was going to be a problem getting the ballots delivered after they'd been filled in by the voters if they were going to keep giving them out until Thursday or Friday before the Tuesday elections. So you have this guy from Delaware. His name is Carper. We're used to dealing with that guy Coons, the guy that's bald. This guy Carper is more invisible senator, but he's not invisible any longer. He went on a tirade today, dropping the F-bomb. Something happened, I guess, with one of his aides. Let's listen to it. Hope we got them all there, Jared. Cut 13.
Is Senator Carper there? We'll move on to Senator Langford.
Mr. Chairman, I think Senator Carper is there. I think he's trying to be able to cue it all up right now.
Senator Carper, can you unmute?
I'm unmuted.
Okay, there we go. We don't want to be on TV again.
Too late. Too late. I can't believe these guys speaking at the open mics like that. Look what happened to that guy that the Brenneman, the Reds announcer. He's gone. He just what is wrong with these people? This is politics 101. This is media 101. 844-500-4242. John, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Howie, how are you? I was out at the White Hut today when they reopened.
Oh, really? How was it?
It was great. I worked for the Picknelly family, so when Peter found out it was closing, it took him about an hour to work a deal out, him and Andy Yee, and it opened. I'm seriously, that's how it happened. I mean, he found out it was closing, and he called up Andy Yee, who used to own the Hookie Lounge in Springfield.
Yeah, right. I know. We've done stuff out there. We've done stuff out there. Yeah.
And I tell you, man, it was great. It's the same food. It's just a little nicer inside, and it was really great.
Well, that's the key. That's the key, John.
For 37 years, but
if it's the same food, you want the same burgers and the same onions and all that kind of stuff, right?
They're using the same bread, the same condiments, the same. Everything is the same except that the White Hut's just the new White Hut. It's the signage, everything. It was beautiful. It was absolutely great.
Good. Well, tell Pignelli he should do a cheap bastard deal with us to promote it. For the White Hut.
I'll email him on Monday morning and I'll tell him that.
Okay, that's great. We've tried to do business with him before, but for some reason we've never clicked. But I think this would be a great way to celebrate the reopening of the White Hut. And again, it was weird because the Wall Street Journal promotes it as one of the best burger joints in America, and at the time last week it was still shut down. But all's well that ends well.
Absolutely, nothing like 2 cheeseburgers with fried onions and a dog with the works.
Ooh, I'm hungry. I
know.
Thanks, John. 844-500-4242. See, I don't want to be gloomy Gus, especially on a Friday in the summer. But so I'm giving you the good news. There's a little bit of good news out there. Barbara, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Barbara.
Hi, Howie.
Hi.
From Pensacola, Florida.
All right. Former home of Joe Scarborough.
Yes. We don't try to tell anybody that very often.
I don't
but
blame
anyway, last night in his speech, Joe Biden made reference to the Ku Klux Klan coming out of the cornfields carrying their torches in Charlottesville. Now, did I miss that footage, or what's the deal with that? I wondered if you had any thoughts on that.
There's again a case where you need a fact checker, Barbara. Where are these fact checkers that always like to begin every headline about Trump? Trump, comma, without foundation, comma, then fill in the blank. I mean, he also accused him of saying that the neo-Nazis were very nice people. He started out his campaign, his first speech when he announced last year, he was talking about Trump saying that the right wingers in Charlottesville, Virginia, were very nice people. He specifically said, "I didn't even bother to pull the sound because we've been over it so many times." Grace, you want to talk about that?
Well, you had just said that you didn't want to be a gloomy Gus, and you're trying to bring some good news to people on this Friday, and a story just broke that I think is a real uplifting story.
What's that?
Kamala Harris got pranked by the fake Greta Thunberg.
Oh!
Happy Friday!
Oh, man, I'm going to order another dog with the works from the White House to celebrate. We'll have that sound very shortly. Yeah, Barbara, he specifically said, President Trump, he said I'm not I despise, or words to that effect, the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists, but there were some good people on both sides. That's what he said, Barbara. I mean, how does he get away with lying about this? And then he gets these wet, slobbering tongue baths from everybody in the media about how great his speech was, Barbara.
I just think the Democrats think we're all a bunch of dumb rubes that don't know the difference and will believe anything they tell us.
Yeah. They obviously do. Yeah, go ahead.
You know what I always say to everybody? November 3rd, vote Republican and vote often.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Barbara. Let's listen to the blooper again of Biden. This is the blooper. See if you can spot this brilliant delivery here. Cut 1.
United in our determination to make the coming years bright. Are you ready? I believe we are. This is a great nation. We're a good and decent people. For Lord's sake, this is the United States of America. And there's never been anything we've been able to accomplish when we've done it together.
There's never been anything we've been able to accomplish whenever we've done it together. And of course, they couldn't believe how great it was. Let's play cut 9. Wolf Blitzer and Democrat stenographer with a press pass, Jake Tapper. cut.
Jake, this was a moment for Joe Biden, the most important speech of his political career, and he was powerful in doing it.
He said President Trump failed at his number one responsibility, which is protecting the American people, and he said that was unforgivable. I've heard Joe Biden give, I don't know, dozens, hundreds of speeches over the...
But Jake, he said we've never been able to accomplish anything. So there's nothing new about this, right? Well, what about you? I mean, you told us that the Steele dossier was true and that it was and that the president had hired prostitutes to pee on the bed at the Ritz-Carlton in Moscow. You told us that Michael Cohen had gone to Prague as Trump's lawyer to meet with the Russian agents. You told us there was a Russian consulate in Miami where they were running all of the dirty tricks operations on Hillary Clinton. And then it turned out that Hillary Clinton had paid for all those lies, and none of them were true. Are you going to apologize for any of that? 844-500-4242. Listen, just got to play this cut here. Cut 12. This is a proven liar, a guy who has been busted on national TV for making up breathtaking whoppers. And listen to what he wants to do now to the Republicans. Cut 12.
So let's talk about the institutionalist Republican senators, of which there are many. A couple of them are running for re-election. Most of them have spent the last couple of years hiding under the nearest rock. When our former president says our very democracy is being threatened, do you think if we could hook some of them up to a polygraph, because Lord knows they couldn't say it publicly, they might get tweeted at, do you think they would agree?
Do you think Brian Williams should be hooked up to a polygraph? I'd like to ask him a bunch of questions, like about being, having his plane or his helicopter fired at in the Mideast, or about seeing the bodies float past him on Canal Street during Katrina. How would Brian Williams do on a polygraph test? Does it ever occur to any of these people that maybe I'm not the one that should be asking these kinds of questions? Really? 844-500-4242. I recently had a dental emergency, and where did I go? Perfect Smiles. I've said this before, but I was reminded once again of what a perfectionist Dr. Bruce Houghton is. He is a veneer engineer and a world-class dental artist. Being on television, it's important for me to look my best. You can see me tonight on Martha McCallum's show, by the way, on Fox around 7:30. Dr. Houghton did that for me, and he can do it for you too now. You'll see how perfect my teeth are if you don't see it on Newsmax at 4 o'clock. Right now, a lot of people don't want to go into the city. We were just talking about that as well. Perfect Smiles is the solution to all of your concerns. It's conveniently located in Nashua, New Hampshire, just off the highway. Parking is plentiful. Parking is free. I was also impressed to see all the state-of-the-art safety protocols they've undertaken since the virus. You'll feel safe and confident when you visit Perfect Smiles, and believe it or not, some of the changes they've made make a dental appointment more pleasant. It's hard to imagine, but it's true. To see for yourself and to get your perfect smile, call 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE or go to HowieCarrShow.com and click on the Perfect Smiles banner. You can also see my video at PerfectSmiles.com. Perfect Smiles. Change your smile, change your life. I'm Howie Carr.
He's the maestro of microaggression. He's Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Precinct 10 Restaurant in Weymouth. From their creamy baked mac and cheese with short ribs to their Louisiana-style paella, Precinct 10 is first class. Open at 4, Tuesday through Sunday for dine-in and curbside takeout.
Howie says it all the time. When it comes to bad politicians, Massachusetts takes the cake.
It is my honor to introduce to you your senator, my senator, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I know who I am because of what my mother and my father told me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Governor Deval Patrick.
And frankly, I got to tell you, with all the other things I'm worrying about, this is not one of them. We're going to be fine. I'm in charge.
Please join me in welcoming our own Senator Ed Markey.
The planet is running a fever. There are no emergency rooms for planets.
the very first African-American congresswoman to be elected from Massachusetts, Ayanna Pressley.
We don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice.
Let's give him a great Waterloo reception. John Kerry.
The Yankees posted the Boston Red Sox logo and they sang Sweet Adeline.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
President Trump is clearly ethically unfit and intellectually unprepared to be the president of the United States. And I support Chairwoman. In the coming weeks, the House will hold hearings. Congresswoman Harris, Congressman Senator Harris. He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So completely inappropriate in so many ways that it's almost a given. It's like a child who comes in with mud on their pants or something. That's the way it is. They're outside playing. That's what he comes in with doggy doo on his shoes, and everybody who works with him has that on their shoes too. But I only will do that if you tell me that this legislation is worthy of George Kirby's name. This moment of national anguish.
This is Paul in North Andover, Mass.
This is Luana in Lexington, Massachusetts.
This is Lauren in Augusta, Maine, and this is the Howie Carr Show.
You know, I tweeted out as soon as the numbers came out. I was waiting for them at 10 o'clock. I was, worried when it was 10:10 and the numbers hadn't come out. But they finally came out because I wanted to see if we were the highest unemployment state in the nation again this month. And so I tweeted out as soon as I got it. And I told the Herald about it. And so we had a story up by like 11 or 11:30, pointing out that the state has the highest unemployment. I think that's a big story. But the Boston Globe has nothing. It's now 6 hours almost later. They don't have a word on it. This isn't like some sneaky stuff. This isn't sources say. This is right on the federal government website that Massachusetts has the highest unemployment rate in the nation, and they won't touch it. And I'll bet you won't see anything on the local TV stations about it tonight. They've all bought in to panic porn. They're all in. It's killing the state. It's killing their advertisers. It's killing their bottom line. And they can't get enough of it. That's how much they hate Trump. This is all this is at this point, I think. It's just once we get to November 3rd, okay, November 4th, if Biden wins, it's all over. It's all ollie oxen free, as they used to say in that Child's game. You can come out. Everybody can come out, take off the masks. We had to do it to get rid of Orange Man Bad. Russ, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Russ.
Howie, it's just more evidence that the people of Massachusetts are saps. Unemployment is the highest it is in the country, and Charlie Baker has a 70% approval rating. My wife and I took a ride out to Sudbury today on Route 20. you should have seen all the police signs on Route 20. In one of the shopping malls, there were four empty stores, and they had big signs, free rent, Howie.
Yeah.
That's how bad they have in trying to rent these places.
Right. They're not in downtown Boston in these apartments. They're not requiring security deposits in some of them. They're letting pets come in, even though their insurance rates will go up. They'll negotiate with you on what you're going to pay. This is and Charlie Baker is totally oblivious to this, isn't he, Russ?
There's no question, Howie. And the other thing, if you look at past history, even a lot of these expensive places, they'll fill them up with Section 8 when they go empty.
Oh, I've seen it before. What about all those apartments they built in Hull back in the 80s? And then you had the SNL crisis, and suddenly they became Section 8. History will repeat itself, Russ. There's no doubt about that. Thanks for the call. Bob, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Bob.
Howie, I just wanted to say something to the teachers of Massachusetts. Every town has the ability to call a special town meeting and defund their public school system if the teachers aren't going to work. All it takes is 30 days, look at the charter, get a couple of hundred signatures, and have a meeting and determine whether or not you wanted to fund the school system in your town if
Bob,
you're not happy.
I don't know how. I don't think that's possible in very many towns in Massachusetts. I was on the town meeting in Wellesley for a while, and we had a tough enough time getting people to have a roll call vote on throwing money away on things like a new senior center, which, by the way, has now been closed for months and months and months. And you could never get it. You could never win a vote like that, Bob. I guarantee. I don't know of a single town in Massachusetts where I would say they would defund the schools.
I think it's worth it to have the teachers answer to the parents why they're not going to school. That's what the meeting is really about. I would like to see that. I would vote to have a special meeting if I were still on the town meeting. I'd vote for that. But again, I don't think we could get 10% in Wellesley. We had 240 members. Have 240 members, and we had the conservatives, the people who were concerned about taxes were maybe 20 to 30 out of 240. That's why I said, you know what, not much point in this. I'm not setting up myself for a nice pension. I'm just ruining a few nights in the spring. I don't need it. Thanks for the call, Bob. Ron, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Ron, quickly. You there, Ron?
Hey, Howie. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, quickly.
So I own a restaurant down in South Shore, fast food, pizza, seafood, and a lot of problems with customers coming in because the cooks don't have masks.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Call back later in the next hour, okay, Ron? Because I want to talk to you about this. Call back. I'm sorry we didn't have enough time. We'll be right back. I'm Howie Carr. Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever, is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
Jim Acosta, without a doubt, wins the competition for Trump's least favorite journalist of all time. Let's listen to some of their feistier moments.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Should I let him have a little bit more? What do you think, Peter? Peter, should I let him have a little bit more? Sit down. I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine...
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you...
When I raise money, excuse me, I've watched you on television. You're a real beauty. Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried...
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, what do you say to your critics who say that you're concocting a national emergency here in order to get your wall because you couldn't get it through other ways?
What do you think? Do you think I'm creating something? Ask these incredible women who lost their daughters and their sons, because your question is a very political question, because you have an agenda. You're CNN. You're fake news.
Joe Biden accuses Trump of being a racist, but if you listen to Biden's comments, you would agree that he doth protest too much.
If you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
The first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
That kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet laureate and not a gangbanger.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
God love you. You've been here all day. My Lord, you may feel like you're being incarcerated.
We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro.
They're going to put you all back in chains. Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
We all shop online, and now you could do it a better way with Honey. Honey is the free online shopping tool that automatically finds the best promo codes and applies them to your cart. Just download Honey to your computer and shop on all your favorite websites like normal. When you check out, just click the Apply Coupons button that pops up. Wait a few seconds for Honey to scan its database of all the working coupons on the web. Then watch your price drop. Honey works on nearly every online store, including Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Macy's, Etsy, and more. And Honey has found over $2 billion in savings for its users. That's why it has over 100,000 five-star reviews on the Google Chrome store. It's 100% free to use and installs in seconds. Plus, it's backed by PayPal, so you know it's secure and reliable. Not using Honey is literally passing up free money. So get Honey for free today at joinhoney.com/Howie. That's joinhoney.com/Howie.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
Someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of my staff.
When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about this experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt, tears of rage.
Would you just stop being so dramatic?
I'm a big believer that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
President Trump's life has changed a lot in the last couple of years, but one thing that remains consistent, his love for a good nickname.
What happened to Mini Mike? Where is he? Mini Mike, I've had him up to here. Sleepy Joe has no idea what he's even talking. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. Sleepy Joe, get off the stage, please. I don't think the guy's got a chance. Sleepy Joe, I don't think he's got it. I don't know. I think Sleepy Joe may be able to limp across the finish line. Crying Chuck. I don't want to say Crazy Nancy because if I say that, you're going to say it's a copy of Crazy Bernie, and that's no good. Who that judge? Alfred E. Newman. You know, I thought Pocahontas was gone, left in embers. I should have saved the Pocahontas thing for another year. Did you ever hear Pocahontas? It's Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren. Little pencil neck Adam Schiff. Got the smallest, thinnest neck I've ever seen. But Nancy Pelosi, I call her Nervous Nancy. Crooked Hillary. Crooked Hillary Clinton. Bill Clinton said to Crooked Hillary. Crooked Hillary, do you think he calls her Crooked Hillary, Mike?
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
You might hear a lot about Bernie, Biden, and Elizabeth Warren, but what about the lightweights who are running for president? Here's a best of the B team.
I've listened to some of my colleagues, Mr. Glover, tell you how much they like your movies. And I have to say, we didn't come here to talk about your movies. We came here to talk about your activism. I like your activism. I also like your movies, but I want to give you a chance because I haven't heard the other side other than tell you that they like they like your movies.
I think the NRA is the worst organization in this country for doing exactly that. They care more about the profits than the American people.
I learned a long time ago about polling. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. I mean, right now, I got nowhere to go but up.
Millions living in the shadows, working some of the toughest jobs, kept in modern-day bondage.
People commit crime. Crime happens.
I have won every single congressional district in my state, including Michelle Bachmann's, okay? That's when you guys are supposed to cheer.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever, is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally meant rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
And now, another minute of Madam Speaker, Nancy Pelosi.
But, again, don't...
You have these wings, AOC and her group on one side.
That's like 5 people. They would say, play games, and then they'd say, open sesame. Except we don't say sesame, we say open Biden. But no, because we are not. We have the number is growing. We have 91 women. There are 115 women in Congress, 116. 15 are Republican, 91 are Democrats. I happen to be a man.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
So it's a great honor and humility. I accept this nomination for President of the United States of America.
You did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did.
He delivered a speech whose themes fit far better in an acceptance speech from Ronald Reagan.
You sure about that?
For the Lord's sake, this is the United States of America. And there's never been anything we've been able to accomplish when we've done it together.
There it is! There it is!
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
I'm Hunter Biden.
And I'm Ashley Biden.
Joe Biden is our dad.
His son walked out with $1.5 billion to manage. That's millions of dollars a year. And the son didn't even have a job before that. He walked out of there in 10 minutes with
marijuana joints, pills, Quaalude, Valium, yellow ones, red ones, cocaine grinder, drug needles.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
Well, Mika, I'm really worried that there will be
direct interference with the election through the manipulation of the Postal Service.
I thought surely you'd still be crushed under that house in Munchkinland.
Unchained and unstoppable.
We couldn't have done that deal had we stayed in this horrible deal done by John Kerry, who just had no clue as to negotiation.
I'm John Kerry, and I'm reporting for duty.
He never got up and walked. Once he rode his bicycle, remembered he was in an accident. I promised at 73 years old, I said, I'll never be riding a bicycle. He had the helmet, he had the names, the insignias all over. He had insignias like he was a 20-year-old great cyclist from France.
Can I get out of here, please?
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
That line about Kerry being like the 20-year-old cyclist, world-class cyclist from France, that just cracks me up. He really doesn't like John Kerry, the former Secretary of State. Remember when he said if anybody should be prosecuted under the Logan Act, it should be John Kerry, which you're forbidden under this unconstitutional act from the dawn of the Republic from engaging in negotiations as a civilian with a foreign government. And I mean, Kerry has admitted he did that. He was doing it during Vietnam when he was still in the Navy, technically.
He's bragged about it.
I know. Anyway, welcome to the Howie Carr Show. The toll-free number is 844-500-4242. Our phone lines are up today. There won't be any problems. We will take some calls this afternoon. And joining me here on this very newsy summer Friday afternoon is Grace.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Grace's News. We will be taking calls throughout the show. We will not be taking calls from fake Greta Thunbergs. As I told Howie last hour, this story just broke that the prankster, Greta Thunberg, not the real one, but the prankster, managed to get through to Senator Kamala Harris. I believe this was prior to her being chosen as the VP. I think they just leaked it out now. But we have to listen to this audio, so let me set this up a little bit. There's a video of Trump going to, I think, the Paris climate,
it was the UN.
It was the UN.
United Nations. The president makes a speech every year, or sometimes before the UN, the
I don't
General Assembly.
I don't think they were expecting him to show up that year. And there's a meme of Greta Thunberg looking on as Trump walks in the room, and she's so angry. She looks like she's going to shoot fire out of her eyeballs at Trump. And in this prank phone call, it's supposed to be, and they've done this before, Greta and her father calling the politician, in this case Kamala, and of course Trump.
The funniest
comes up.
one was Bernie Sanders when she started talking about Russia, and they started playing the Soviet national anthem, and they said that they had a secret word that they wanted him to say, kind of like the Manchurian Candidate.
Right.
And then he finally realized and just hung up. But it took him a while to catch on.
Especially considering the voices are not, exceptional. These aren't very honed accents.
Right, and they're also having a tough time keeping a straight face.
Yes. So in this case, the Greta tells Kamala that when she was at the UN, Trump went over to her and whispered, angry, mean things at her.
So these are Russian DJs. There's the woman claims to be Greta Thunberg, and the male Russian DJ, from the Morning Zoo of Moscow or St. Petersburg, whatever, that he's claiming to be her father.
So listen to Kamala talk to Greta and Papa Greta.
Also terrified of what Trump is doing. I even can't sleep or eat when I see him on TV. That terrible meeting in the UN building in September, I had nightmares. I saw him in the corridor. I shouted to him to sign the Paris Climate Agreement. He came over. He said softly to me, "You will never achieve the goal." So,
no, but Greta, do not be deterred.
He continued.
Do not be deterred. You have the ability to see what is possible in a way that many do not. And there will be people who are going to work against progress. That is always the case. Always in history, there have been people who work against progress. Listen, nothing that has been achieved in this world that has been about progress came without a fight. This is the nature of it.
She's so profound, isn't she?
But it's It's very sick to behave like that. I mean, President Trump.
Yes, it is, and it is similar to previous times in history when some people could not imagine how things can be different, and then leaders did imagine and could see it and led. And so you have been a great leader. Do not be deterred.
So Greta has a recorder always with her, and when it happened,
It's in my pocket. Oh, yes.
And it was in Greta's recorder now, and so if you would like to get it, we can provide it.
Maybe this recorder can help you. In my side,
Thank you. That would be
wonderful. I can testify against this terrible man.
Terrible man.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry I have to hang up now, but Josh will follow up with you, and we will stay in touch and work together. And I look forward to working with you.
We are in Canada now, but we will be in the US soon.
Oh, good. Then we should make a plan then. I would like that.
Yes. I hope that you will not arrest us like
Go to jail, really.
like some people do.
I look forward to seeing you.
Why didn't Kamala ask him if they had any compromat
I don't know.
on Trump?
That girl's voice is amazing. I have nightmare about him. And, I mean, it's not far off that Kamala would believe that Trump would go up to a young girl and say to her, "You will never accomplish your goal at the UN." It's wacky. But that was a nice little light Friday news. I love a good prank phone call. In other news, Lori Loughlin and her husband, Massimo Giannulli, are getting, Lori's getting 2 months in prison. Her hubby is getting 5 months. She has delivered a tearful apology. 2 months really is not bad.
No, 5 months. I don't know. I mean, I'm not in favor of this kind of actions, but is it really necessary to lock the guy up for 5 months?
I know. Well,
I mean, he has been kind of humiliated, and his wife's career has been torched. I'll bet the kids are very angry at him. These are the two kids that pretended to be on rowers.
They photoshopped their heads.
Team. And they posed. They got these nice designer T-shirts that like they'd never sweated in, and they posed on a rowing machine. And you can tell from their legs they're not athletes, right? You can tell that.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you looked at my legs, you'd be able to tell I was never an athlete either.
Right. But they figured they were passing out so much money, that it didn't really matter. They just had to do something.
I mean, the strangest part of the entire thing still to this day is the fact that they did all of this to get their daughter, and no shade, into USC. It wasn't like Harvard or Princeton or Yale. USC. Again, I went to PC, so I'm not being a snob or anything. I'm just saying.
I understand exactly what you're saying.
It's a little odd to risk it all. I hope the big house was worth the what's their icon, their mascot?
The big house?
No, the USC.
The Trojans. The Trojans.
The Trojans. I hope the Trojans t-shirt was worth your dad going to jail.
For 5 months.
For 5 months. I mean, and he won't even go to jail for that long. He'll probably be there for a lot less.
I think, though, what I've been told, I always think of it as 85% because the people I know always get lengthier sentences, and you got to do 85%.
All your friends.
But if you get a short sentence like that, I think you may have to do the whole bit.
Oh, yeah. That could be the case. That's probably why they give it to you so short, because they actually want you to do the entire thing. Well, I know that Lori Loughlin. Remember when this broke, and this was pre-COVID. This was pre all of this stuff. We thought this was big stuff. Now looking back, it's like, oh, we're still going to worry about that?
It's kind of funny. I mean, it's, Murder Incorporated was a big story when it broke, but then Pearl Harbor came by.
The thing about Lori Loughlin is that she was getting coached. She had a prison coach, like a prison Mike, a guy who came in and said, this is what you do. You're going to talk tough, like a Donnie Deutsch, to give her tips on how to handle herself when she gets there, so she's not picked on. Because you have to come off when you get to jail like you're the top dog, Howie. You don't want to come off, weak, and they'll go after you.
I understand.
You know what? During the break, I'm going to give you some tips, and then when we get back on the other side, we'll have other things to discuss.
I've got some. I've talked to people who've been there.
No, but this is Prison Grace. We're going to give you some real tips.
Super Beets?
I need some Super Beets, Howie.
If you haven't tried Super Beets Soft Chews, you're missing out on a really, really great product. Mm-hmm. It comes wrapped in foil, just like a candy, like Power Burst or Starburst it is.
I think the biggest testament to how delicious Super Beets are is that we can't keep them in the office for more than 3 or 4 days before the entire bag is gone.
Yeah.
And I blame my coworkers for that.
Yeah, and the VIPs all love them when they're in here. It's great. They're but it's not. It tastes like candy, but it's good for you. It's good for your circulation. It's good for your blood pressure, and it's just sharpens your verbal reflexes, your mind. Exactly. Super Beets Soft Chews combine non-GMO beets with a powerful new ingredient, grapeseed extract. The grapeseed extract used in Super Beets Chews has been clinically shown to be twice as effective at supporting normal blood pressure as a healthy lifestyle alone. Better blood pressure means more energy, just the way nature intended, without the jittery caffeine or stimulants. Now you can take just 2 delicious chews a day, anytime, anywhere, to get the blood pressure support you need and the energy you want. You'll get into a habit. I take one when I wake up in the morning before I even have my first cup of coffee, and then I have one right before I go on the show every day.
I would suggest to people buy more than 1 bag, though, from the start, because everyone in your house is going to end up wanting to have 2 a day.
Yeah, and visitors will come, and they'll grab a handful themselves. Do what I did and support your heart health today with delicious Super Beets Soft Chews. Get your Super Beets Chews today at superbeetsradio.com/Howie. And when you buy 2 bags, they'll throw in the 3rd one for free. That's superbeetsradio.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
Keep it here, chumps. More Howie Carr after this.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Ken's Place in Scarborough, Maine. Stop by today and have one of my favorite world-famous batter-dipped fried clams. They are the best in the world. That's Ken's Place on Route 9 in Scarborough, Maine.
You can call him Fat Boy, just don't call him late for dinner. He's Howie Carr.
We will bring over your entire family from the third world Muslim hellhole that they live in so that they can have an all-expenses-paid, taxpayer-funded with open bar weekend at a nice hotel in Boston, get a nice sightseeing tour, maybe take them to Fenway Park for a game so they can see their savage Muslim terrorist kinsman sentenced to death. But the President of the United States of America can't be allowed to speak before Parliament because he's such a terrible barbarian, as opposed to the dictator of Red China. And I'm going to call it Red China. Since the Dems are down on Russia, we might as well go after all the communist dictatorships that are left, right? Russia isn't even a communist dictatorship, it's just authoritarian now, but let's call it Red China.
With all the uncertainty in the world, feeling safe at home has never been more important. It's why I want to talk to you about Simply Safe Home Security. They're longtime friends of the Howie Carr Show, and for good reason. Simply Safe has made it easy to finally get comprehensive protection for your home. There's no technician or salesperson that needs to come and disrupt your house. You don't need to pay any outrageous monthly fees or sign a 2-year contract. You just order online, set it up yourself in under an hour, and your home is protected 24/7 with emergency dispatch for break-ins, fire, and more. All for just 50 cents a day. And we're not the only fans of Simply Safe. U.S. News and World Report named Simply Safe Best Overall Home Security of 2020. Go to simplysafehowie.com to try it out for yourself. That's simplysafehowie.com to make sure they know that our show sent you. That's simplysafehowie.com. And now, some of my favorite fake Indian cuts of all time.
I'm not going to ask you for your favorite curse word. Actually, I am. Do you have a favorite curse word?
Poop.
Poop? Oh, that's a goody two-shoes favorite curse word if I ever heard one.
Are you kidding? Have you ever seen a woman like me look you straight in the face after you finished some long explanation of something and then just said, poop?
Hold on a sec. I'm going to get me a beer.
I am not sure what she's talking about as far as a rally with.
It was a rally in Bern, organized by. Is that you have to figure out
who you are. I grew up in a family that was barely hanging on to the ragged edge of the middle class. And my Aunt Bee has walked by that picture at least 1,000 times, remarked that her father, my papa, had high cheekbones like all of the Indians do.
This is Lynn in sunny Las Vegas.
This is Dan from the moonbat capital of Jamaica Plain.
This is Gigi in Leominster, Massachusetts, and this is the Howie Carr Show.
Talking about erectile dysfunction isn't easy. Good thing Roman makes treating erectile dysfunction simple, safe, and from the comfort of your own home. Get a free online evaluation today at GetRoman.com/Howie. If approved, you'll get $15 off your first order of erectile dysfunction treatment. GetRoman.com/Howie. Jared, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Which Joe Biden insult best describes you? Damn liar, fat, junkie, ain't black, or lying dog-faced pony soldier?
Lying dog-faced pony soldier.
I'm going to say damn liar. I feel like I've heard people call me that before.
Lying dog-faced pony soldier is in the lead at 43%. Ain't black is second at 39%. Fat is third at 11%. Damn liar, only 5%. And bringing up the rear of the race, junkie at 2%.
Fat's a throwback. You forget about fat. Because he said that, and that was almost that was a real slip of the tongue. Like, he didn't even realize he said it. It was like he thought it, and it came out.
That happened at least once last night again.
Yeah. I mean,
when he was reading and he was supposed to read unable, and he became able. Yeah, America has never been able to do anything. That's what it was, kind of a big screw up.
I don't know if Ronald Reagan would have said that, because there was a lot of Reagan comparisons. I don't feel as though that was his message. No. But then again, I wasn't alive for Ronald Reagan, so maybe I don't know.
No.
Anyway, Howie, I do want to talk a little bit more about last night, but first I want to let everyone know that Grace's News is brought to you by Toyota of Portsmouth, the house of value. I absolutely love my new RAV4 XLE. It is beautiful, shiny navy on the outside, beautiful tan leather seats on the inside. So many cool features that I love, including the side mirrors that let you know when someone's behind you before you pass, so you don't get into any accidents. But the most important thing is where I got it, Toyota of Portsmouth. They really make the experience of buying or leasing a car so enjoyable. Everyone from Brad Austin to Jim Boyle to Matt in finance, everyone there is so nice. They make you feel like family. They're located just south of the Portsmouth traffic circle off 95. Go to toyotaofportsmouth.com or visit them at the showroom. Tell them I sent you. Tell them you listen to the show. You might see my mom there because she's threatening to get a new car now because she just loved the showroom so much. So check them out, toyotaofportsmouth.com. I want to do a quick update here. Because it's Friday, I tend to do some lighter things on Friday. Ellen DeGeneres has been in the news a lot because of rumors that she's not very nice to work for, that her staff or that some of her producers, including Annie Lasner, are not very nice. I'm using that as kind of a...
Some of them have been forced out, right?
Yeah, I'm saying not very nice, but it's a little more extreme than that.
And she has Hillary tendencies, according to some of the news stories, like requiring the staffers not to look into her eyes as they walk by.
Yeah. And don't talk to her, and don't, and I guess I've heard things like she's told, this is rumor, but she's told celebrities like, oh, you don't have to talk to them, the help or the staff or whatever. So anyway, the Ellen DeGeneres show is increasing perks for employees amid toxic workplace scandal, including an increase in paid time off, an additional 5 days, and a very...
M&Ms?
Only the red ones. And a very generous medical leave policy. What I find interesting is they fired a lot of people, but they didn't fire the head people. Like, they didn't fire Andy Lasner. They're not firing Ellen.
That's the way it always is.
But if the fish rots from the head, then this fish is still stinky because it's rotting. If you're not going to fire the people who are running the show, then so you're going to fire the young people who you were being mean to from the first get-go? Just saying.
You always find a scapegoat, a patsy. Think Kevin Kleinsmith.
this week.
Yeah.
The FBI lawyer.
Yeah, a fall guy.
Yeah.
Not me. And not you, Howie, after I give you my prison tips. You're not going to be a fall guy. I wanted to talk a little bit here about AOC. She went on Twitter again, Howie, which she does when she goes on her rant. She films herself.
How many followers has she got? 6 million?
She's got about 6 million more than I do.
Wow.
She's got a lot. I actually think she has 8.2 million last time I checked on Twitter. I'm not sure about Instagram. But she said we need to beat Trump in November to beat fascism. And Howie and I talked about this a little bit today. And it's the same thing the DNC has been saying all week, which is Trump is this existential, imminent threat. But he's been an imminent threat for 1,312 days now. It doesn't seem to change. So how imminent can this threat be? And now we're beating...
Has he unleashed the Internal Revenue Service on any left-wing political groups? Kind of like Barack Obama did with the Tea Party?
Oh, according to Nicole Wallace, Barack Obama is scandal-free.
Has he surveilled or wiretapped any reporters from, say, the Associated Press or the Fox News channel? The way Barack Obama did?
No, but we have to win. The Democrats have to win in November.
Did he throw any Democrat contributors into jail or halfway house the way Barack Obama did with Dinesh D'Souza?
I know. It's double standards. You've been seeing a lot of double standards this week with the DNC. But we've got the RNC coming up, and that, I think, is going to be when the real fireworks happen.
We'll be right back. Take your calls, 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
These days, a lot of companies are busier than a set of jumper cables at a West Virginia wedding trying to improve their brands. Brand names we've known and loved for years are vanishing before our very eyes. And while we can no longer visit the International House of Burgers, we can take comfort in knowing that the great Matthews Brothers brands won't change. That's because our wicked awesome windows and doors were named for real people. For example, our Walcott brand is named after the oldest founding brother of the company. Spencer Walcott Matthews began studying his craft at the age of 21. When he was 25 years old, he was joined by his brother Noah, then his brother Sanford, and founded the Matthews Brothers Company. Spencer Walcott was obsessed with quality, and he personally inspected every piece that left our factory those first crucial years. For 35 years, he stood at the helm of the company as we gained a reputation second to none for quality, consistency, and reliability. This is what Spencer Walcott Matthews stood for, and it's why we named our premier window line after him. You can learn more about our wicked awesome Maine-made windows and doors, but only at Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. That's Matthews Brothers with one T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
The Democrat Party is so full of loonies, social justice warriors, progressives, whatever you want to call them, that sometimes certain moonbats get overlooked. So let's take this moment to shine the woke spotlight on Crazy Maisie Hirono.
I am not going to be a fool to Mitch McConnell's shenanigans. Why should any of us?
And it's not just a dog whistle, it's a bullhorn.
Bullhorns. It's racism. It's basically, for many people, it's anti-Semitic. It's white supremacy.
Why not take a stand and vote yes for it? Seems like you're trying to have it both ways, not be hung by it politically, but also not say that you don't support it.
I disagree with you, Katie, that why should we engage in the kind of sham shenanigans that Mitch McConnell is really good at?
I'm confused.
This was just a sham.
Guess who's perpetuating all of these kinds of actions? It's the men in this country, and I just want to say to the men in this country, just shut up and step up.
I think the noose is closing, and, Giuliani is like a loose cannon, and so is the president, frankly.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day. Once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
And now, 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
It is a bill that
is much needed for our farmers and ranchers. I think there are only 47 votes against it in the House of Representatives. The American people should know the source of it. Again, we are engaged in the year-end continuing resolution, Homeland Security. I'm not sure. No, I haven't spoken to him since he called the other day, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. And I talked to Chuck last night to say, we haven't had an answer. There are other things that are going on that are newsworthy, and I think you'd have more viewers or readers if people address concerns that people have. The list goes on about the
Here's 1 minute with Governor
Charlie Parker in Massachusetts.
I'd certainly put myself on that list. I'm a basketball player. I always was.
There's a lot at stake here.
This is not a virus to be trifled with or disrespected.
Respect the virus.
I have a hard time understanding when we're going to be able to play basketball again.
We can start talking about a gradual, careful, data-driven, phased reopening. Don't let a few nice days step on that.
I need to talk to the Attorney General and find out what the actual parameters of the ruling are. Did this just happen? And the reason I read that story is because I'm a basketball player, and I agree. I was first made aware of the discrepancy on this on the day that the registrar resigned.
The vast majority, and I mean like the vast majority of the people who are part of these protests are there to make a point and to make it peacefully. That is so obvious, I'm amazed that anybody could say anything other than that. I would love to be able to open everything up tomorrow. That would be an incredibly irresponsible thing to do.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. And I'm going to guess that most of the people that are watching and listening right now did not watch the acceptance speech by Joe Biden last night in Wilmington, Delaware. And you didn't miss much. He had one blooper. He was better than normal. People are speculating whether or not he was given a lot of Geritol or some other thing to give him a little more edge in his delivery. And Rush Limbaugh was speculating today about whether or not it was a live performance. I think it was live, actually. I don't see how they could have recorded it. And the fact is that we're going to play a blooper here. And if it were taped, they would have taken care of this blooper. But they didn't. So cut number one.
United in our determination to make the coming years bright. Are you ready? I believe we are. This is a great nation. We're a good and decent people. For Lord's sake, this is the United States of America. And there's never been anything we've been able to accomplish when we've done it together.
There's never been anything we've been able to accomplish when we've done it together. Thank you. Can we quote you on that, Mr. Vice President? And of course, he told that whopper that he's been telling since the beginning of the campaign about how President Trump supposedly said that there were very good people that were among the right-wingers in Charlottesville, Virginia, where the woman was killed by the guy that was being attacked by an Antifa mob and was trying to drive away. He didn't say that. Biden should know that, or Biden's handler should know that. And then, of course, the entire section about coronavirus was just a texture of one misstatement after another. And it's particularly rich coming from a guy like Joe Biden, who has been wrong on just about every issue, foreign and domestic, in the course of his 40-plus years, closer to 50 years in Congress and in the Capitol and in government, the federal government in general. And he just basically laid out all these mistakes that President Trump made, but it was left to Karl Rove last night, who I'm not a big fan of.
but he laid it all out. What Joe Biden was saying, well, President Bush was cutting off the travel from China, which everyone agrees saved many, many lives. And Karl Rove just put it all together. Here it is.
He and his campaign were wrong on this issue almost from the start. In late January, remember, he had said the China travel ban was hysteria and xenophobia, 31st of January. Early February, he sent out his campaign to say this is less lethal than SARS and is, quote, probably not a serious epidemic. That was his campaign. By mid-February, he said they were saying, quote, we don't have a COVID-19 epidemic, we have a fear epidemic. By late February, they were saying, quote, it's like the flu, and it's going to dissipate with warmer weather and move to the southern hemisphere. And, quote, masks are not going to help, end quote, said his advisors on the record. And by early March, he was still holding a rally, indoor rally in Wisconsin, and then came out and opposed the European travel ban.
So you heard that? He said, I'm sorry about the quality, wasn't what it should have been, but he said in March that masks weren't going to work. Well, that's quite a switch. Of course, Fauci has changed his mind on masks. He said they wouldn't work, and now he wants everybody to wear them. The Surgeon General said the same thing, now thinks they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. But, Biden now, after saying in March that masks don't work, 5 months later, this is what he said last night, cut 3.
We'll have a national mandate to wear masks, not as a burden, but as a patriotic duty to protect one another.
A national mandate to wear masks. Richard Brunel, the former ambassador to Germany and acting director of national intelligence for a while, tweeted out last night. I thought he made an excellent point. He said, so here's the choice. Do you want a candidate who believes you should be required to wear a face mask indefinitely? Because, once this thing starts, you saw it was supposed to be 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and now it's just going on and on and on. And as the death rate diminishes, as the number of positive tests decreases in most areas, they just keep tightening the screws further and further down. It's hard to kick this habit of just having a total power. And these governors and mayors, they don't have to worry about legislatures or city councils or boards of aldermen. They just all the power is being ceded to these power-mad executives, whether they're governors or mayors. It's really a problem. 844-500-4242. Mary, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Mary.
Oh, hi, Howie. I just wanted to say I didn't watch anything on the news the last 3 days because my blood pressure couldn't handle the Democrats. But needless to say, I was looking at my Facebook account. People are complaining that Fox News is covering it. They shouldn't be. Let's ban them. Disney took over. They're biased. And I just put a comment in that said, of course not. I said, well, if they didn't cover it, we'd be as bad as they are.
Yeah, and Disney hasn't taken over. Disney's got enough problems with Disney World and Disneyland and ESPN. Disney is hemorrhaging money. They don't need to take over Fox. Not that they could take over Fox. Fox is doing well. And no, that's not a problem. They had to cover it. I'm like you, Mary. I've been taking a night off from the news, basically. Even though I'm on Newsmax, I haven't really watched a lot of news the last few nights. I wake up in the morning around 6 o'clock, and then I hear I hear the greatest hits, you might say. Thanks for the call, Mary. 844-500-4242. Robert, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump, and thanks for taking my call. Let's just put this in perspective here. If Biden does get elected president for somehow the Dems cheating, I think they're going to end up killing him off and killing off Kamala Harris and then guess who your next president's going to be.
No. Come on, Robert. They're not going to do that. They may invoke the 25th Amendment to get rid of Joe Biden, because I don't think he's up to the task of being president for even as long as William Henry Harrison was, which was 30 days. I think he'd be gone shortly, and then you'd have Kamala Harris as the president of the United States. Thanks for the call, though. Jim, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, Biden 2020, 20 weeks as the president. Howie, I watched it last night, and then myself and my wife watched the media fawning over the speech, and she is furious with me now because she can no longer fake it in bed, because I am an expert now, having seen it all last night.
Oh, stop it, Jim. They were, I don't even know where to begin. I got a whole sheet of cuts here of the fawning that was going on. And, you had to expect this. I think I said yesterday that they were going to compare it to everything from the Gettysburg Address to probably the Sermon on the Mount about how great he was. Even on Fox, Chris Wallace was gushing over Biden and says, well, this should put to rest any thoughts about his mental deterioration. This is a guy, Joe Biden, who didn't even know Chris Wallace's first name. What did he call him? What did he call him? Chuck. Nice to be with you, Chuck. But he's brilliant. Joe Scarborough. I don't even want to play all these cuts. Joe Scarborough from MSNBC said he was Reagan-esque. Joy Reid from MSNBC said attacking Hunter is disgraceful. Because he's
very fake news.
Trump mentioned this afternoon. Trump mentioned Hunter Biden today. Cut 18.
Where's Hunter? Where is Hunter? No, I went to one of them. I said, we have to have Where's Hunter as a witness. They said, what do you mean, Where's Hunter? I said, that's his first name. I have now made his first name Where's. Where's Hunter? I
guess that wasn't this afternoon. That was earlier. But he's still going to go after him, and it's just amazing that they would bring Hunter Biden out there after again they know they're bulletproof because they're Democrats. The Democrat stenographers with press passes are not going to go after them. It's really something. 844-500-4242. Here's Nicole Wallace talking to Dr. Jill. This is on MSNBC too. Listen to this. I mean, talk about crazy. Just non compos mentis. Cut 14.
The attacks on a candidate or an office holder are most acutely felt by the people who love them most. And Donald Trump got impeached over his effort to take your husband and smear your family and weaken your husband politically. How are you going to protect your family and yourself next week?
Donald Trump got impeached over nothing. He didn't do anything. He got impeached because you hadn't been able to take him out with faithless electors, recounts in Michigan and Pennsylvania, the 25th Amendment, the Russian collusion hoax, Michael Cohen, Stormy Daniels. None of that stuff would work, so you just threw up another piece of garbage against the wall. That's what that was all about. And Joe Biden is on tape, is on videotape in front of the Council on Foreign Relations bragging about basically shaking down the government of Ukraine to get them to fire a prosecutor who was interested in the company that his son worked for, Burisma. His son, who had no experience in oil and gas, his son who had never been to Ukraine, who didn't speak the native language, is suddenly hired for $50,000 or $80,000 a month, depending on who you believe, to be on the board of directors of this very shady, dodgy corporation, and they're appalled that Trump would make an issue of this. 844-500-4242. Sharon, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Sharon.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, I'm here.
Yes, This is Sharon. I have something funny. I heard that what Biden stands for, BIDEN.
Is it clean? Is it clean, Sharon? Just make it clean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it's very clean and very funny.
Go ahead.
Biggest idiot Democrats ever nominated.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Thanks for the Thanks for the call, Sharon. 844-500. I had my finger on the button there. I was ready to pull it out at any moment. Cut it off. That's what we got the 7-second delay button for. I'm Howie Carr.
He's the guru of graft. It's Howie Carr.
If you're thinking of replacing your carpets due to pet stains and odors, you must try Genesis 950 first. It breaks down the bonds of stains and odors so they're gone from carpets and padding for good. You can use it in a carpet cleaning machine and it's green, so it's safe for family and pets. It was the go-to cleaner for when Mr. Gooner had an accident, as older pugs so often do. Before you purchase new carpeting, you must try Genesis 950. 1 gallon of industrial strength Genesis 950 makes up to 7 gallons of cleaner, and it's not just for pet stains. It's a disinfectant that kills viruses as well. It's also great for kitchens, garages, grease stains, wheels, tires, and more. Save yourself the trouble of going to the store and seeing your favorite cleaner sold out again. You can just order it and have it delivered right to your doorstep. Genesis 950 is made in America. Order a gallon direct at genesis950.com. Enter code Howie to get more than a $10 value in savings, including free shipping and a free spray bottle with a 1 gallon purchase of Genesis 950. Go to genesis950.com and enter code Howie.
He's New England's talk radio king. He's Howie Carr.
The only French term I like is sans culotte, without trousers. I used to describe Ted Kennedy as sans culotte because after the Obar incident, when he was wandering around down on the beach with his 20th Scotch tumbler of the day in his hand, stumbling around with an he was just there, as the Michel Casson, Patches Date said, he was just there. Without trousers. Or as we say in Paris, sans culotte.
We've seen nothing that we can work, that I can work with President Bush on, and I'm disappointed because I thought that there might be some interest because of what he said in the campaign.
President Bush, this is your brain. This is your brain on Botox. Okay? That's the lesson of that one.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie.
Brace yourself, guys. Here's 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
I myself have always been for lowering the voting age to 16. I think it's really important to capture kids when they're in high school, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. That they wanted their voices to be heard. I don't think our colleague is anti-Semitic. I think she has a different experience in the use of words. That's not the total package, but there are some of the major points of discussion, I would hope, from sea to shining sea, because they are not getting paid 163. Was it 163 Republicans voted no? Wisdom from the kitchen of the Willard Hotel, yes, ma'am. The president either doesn't know what he's talking about or doesn't want to know what he's talking about.
This is Jay in Hingham, Massachusetts.
This is Gloria from Haverhill, Mass.
Hi, this is Joe from Howie in the Hills, Florida, and this is the Howie Carr Show.
And we were prepared for it to be a terrible speech. As long as he didn't embarrass himself, we were going to come out here and praise it. You don't have to make nothing up tonight. Joe Biden did that thing tonight. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Did that thing? Did he quote, the thing? That was Van Jones on CNN. They say a gaffe in Washington is when you inadvertently tell the truth. And I think Anderson Cooper's reaction when he heard him say, we were prepared for a terrible speech, that proves it was a gaffe, even to admit that much. 844-500-4242. It wasn't that great either. Let's be honest. And if there really were fact checkers and legitimate quote unquote journalists handing out Pinocchios for lying, Joe Biden would have got a whole raft of Pinocchios in this morning's Washington Post. Patrick, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Patrick.
Hi, Howie. Thanks for taking my call. My question for you is about this mail-in voting now. I live in Jersey, and it seems like that's the way we're going to have to vote. And I just wonder if this is going to be statewide, countrywide. Everyone's going to have to vote that way. To me, it seems like they're going to be somehow taking advantage of the president, maybe somehow stuffing the ballot box, and we're not going to have a fair election.
Well, I think everybody's concerned about that, Patrick. And President Trump, again, in his speech this afternoon in Virginia, was talking about it yet again. I believe they filed a lawsuit against the state of New Jersey. And he actually mentioned it. He said Governor Murphy had pushed it through, this mail-in ballots to everybody in the state with an executive order. He didn't even get permission from or approval by the legislature. He didn't introduce any legislation. This is the way all these governors are operating. And I believe the Republicans are suing the state of New Jersey to stop this, because obviously there's going to be a lot of fraud. And there's going to also be there's a lawsuit been filed against the governor of Nevada, who's a Democrat, who's got that state locked down. And I think it's a big problem. Trump said that tonight or this afternoon that he doesn't think that we're going to know who won the election, not just on election night. He said he doesn't think we're going to know who won the election 2 weeks or 4 weeks down the road. Remember the year 2000? It took 6 weeks to figure out who the winner was because of the so-called hanging chads in Florida. It's going to be a huge problem, and of course there's going to be all kinds of chicanery going on. I was talking to a woman yesterday. Her son is in the Air Force. He used to live in Massachusetts, then he moved to Arizona, and now he's on an Air Force base in Italy, and he's gotten 3 different sets of ballots. 3 different sets. And I'm hearing it from everybody that they're getting all kinds of ballots. People are getting mail-in ballots here in Massachusetts, and then the same people are also sending out for absentee ballots. And so I guess you could get it. This is for the primary on September 1st. So I guess in some cases, there's the potential to have a mail-in ballot that you just get a letter from the Secretary of State, and he says you can apply for the mail-in ballot. You apply for the mail-in ballot from the Secretary of State. Then you apply for the absentee ballot from the town or city you live in, and then you just go down to the polling place and vote in person on election day. And in Massachusetts, all the libraries are shut down like other places. And those big boxes they have where you're supposed to return your books? They look like a mailbox, and you can drop your books off if the library's closed, or your videos. Well, they don't use those for returning books anymore because the virus can be transmitted. But in some places now, they're turning those book boxes into places you can drop your ballot. Just drop your ballot. How is that not going to spread the virus? I'm Howie Carr.
I'm Kevin O'Connor, and I'm running for United States Senate. Recently, I met with a group of cops, good people. They're upset, tired, and frustrated. Why? Our Washington politicians embrace the defund the police movement. How foolish. Let's honor our brave men and women in blue. I say defend the police. As a husband and as a dad, I know this. Our families want safe communities. On September 1st, vote for me for U.S. Senate. I'm Kevin O'Connor, and I approve this message. Paid for by Kevin O'Connor for U.S. Senate.
The Bayview Collection is a small group of distinctive luxury boutique hotels located in the beautiful coastal village of Camden, Maine, whose properties include the Lord Camden Inn, Camden's premier downtown boutique hotel, the Grand Harbor Inn, Camden's only four-diamond waterfront hotel, and 16 Bayview, Camden's newest contemporary hotel property with its iconic rooftop bar, The View. The Bayview Collection, 3 great choices, 1 remarkable destination. To learn more, visit them at bayviewcollection.com. The Moonbats always say Donald Trump isn't very bright. But what about Barack Hussein Obama? Let's listen to some of his greatest hits.
I've now been in 57 states. I think 1 left to go. I don't know what the term is in Austrian.
The Cambridge police acted stupidly.
And there has never been any man or woman more qualified for this office than Hillary Clinton.
There are neighborhoods around the country where it is easier for a 12 or 13-year-old to purchase a gun and cheaper than it is for them to get a book.
I believe in the Second Amendment. It's there written on the paper. If we fall for, a bunch of okey doke.
A few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia, not Al-Qaeda. You said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
The Moonbats always say Donald Trump isn't very bright. But what about Barack Hussein Obama? Let's listen to some of his greatest hits.
I've now been in 57 states. I think 1 left to go. I don't know what the term is in Austrian.
The Cambridge police acted stupidly.
And there has never been any man or woman more qualified for this office than Hillary Clinton.
There are neighborhoods around the country where it is easier for a 12 or 13-year-old to purchase a gun and cheaper than it is for them to get a book.
I believe in the Second Amendment. It's there written on the paper. If we fall for, a bunch of okey doke.
A few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia, not Al-Qaeda. You said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever, is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
There are plenty of differences between Trump and the Democrats running for 2020, but the main one is Trump's pretty funny. Take a listen.
What advice would you give to the 25-year-old Donald Trump knowing what you know today?
Don't run for president. I'm not a drinker. I can honestly say I never had a beer in my life, okay? It's one of my only good traits. I don't drink. Whenever they're looking for something good, I say, I never had a glass of alcohol. I've never had alcohol. Can you imagine if I had? What a mess I'd be. I'd be the world's worst. Other countries, big countries, India and others, we had to pay because they considered them a growing country. They were a growing country. I said, what are we? Are we allowed to grow too? Okay. No, are we allowed to grow?
I try like hell to hide that bald spot, folks. I work harder. Doesn't look bad. Hey, we're hanging in.
I should have saved the Pocahontas thing for another year. because I've destroyed her political career, and now I won't get a chance to run against her, and I would have loved it. I don't want to knock out all of the good stuff and end up with somebody that's actually got talent. That would be terrible.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
If you could go back in time and give your younger self advice, what would you say?
Get a state job, because behind the job comes the pension.
What's the best advice anyone's ever given you?
Most advice is pretty forgettable.
What's the best money you've ever spent?
The investment I made to leave the corporate radio prison I was in, the worst people I ever worked for, no doubt about it. I'd probably be dead if I were still working for them.
If you were on a deserted island and you could only bring 3 things, what would you bring?
A radio, a Wi-Fi system, obviously, and a computer, and I would bring some books. Don't ask me which books, too hard a question.
What was your dad's job when you were growing up?
My dad worked as a resort hotel manager. He worked in Florida at the Breakers in the winter, and then he worked at the Mountain View House, as it was called then, in Whitefield, New Hampshire, and various other places.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Here are some rapid-fire questions with Taylor Cormier. What would you eat for your last meal on Earth?
I'm fond of old favorites, childhood favorites. I'd go with my mother's beef and bean pie, followed by, for dessert, my grandmother's recipe for oatmeal cookies and a big glass of milk.
Where is your favorite place to vacation?
Home. I like being home. I like my house. I know where everything is. Yeah, I just like being home.
Favorite Frank Sinatra song to listen to?
It's called Without a Song, and it's on the album I Remember Tommy. It's a tribute to Tommy Dorsey, and it's a very swinging remake of the original orchestration.
Favorite Frank Sinatra song to sing?
My favorite one to sing is One for My Baby and One for the Road. It's a very sad song, but it's somebody coming to the realization that this is the way life is, and they've come to terms with it. And I think it's something that everybody can connect to. It's a great equalizer for everybody in the room.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. hairman.com/Howie.
Remember the boy who cried wolf? I call this one the press that cried Hitler.
The president is not only racist, he's a bigot, but he is completely un-American. He is behaving like a fascist.
This is the president, once again, just thumping his chest and acting like he is the dictator that I think he wants to be.
The President of the United States is a wannabe dictator with authoritarian tendencies.
This is exactly what authoritarians do. This is what strongmen do. This is what happens in authoritarian regimes.
We have a president with a strong authoritarian personality.
Like a dictator from another nation.
People that grew up in authoritarian regimes, seeing echoes of that in President Trump. He likes these figures like Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un.
This is more the actions of a dictator.
He totally wants to be a dictator. It's so obvious. Much like Hitler.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
So it's a great honor and humility. I accept this nomination for President of the United States of America.
You did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did.
He delivered a speech whose themes fit far better in an acceptance speech from Ronald Reagan.
You sure about that?
For Lord's sake, this is the United States of America. And there's never been anything we've been able to accomplish when we've done it together.
There it is! There it is!
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
I'm Hunter Biden.
And I'm Ashley Biden.
Joe Biden is our dad.
His son walked out with $1.5 billion to manage. That's millions of dollars a year. And the son didn't even have a job before that. He walked out of there in 10 minutes with
marijuana joints, pills, Quaalude, Valium,
yellow ones, red ones, cocaine grinder, drug needles.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
Well, Mika, I'm really worried that there will be direct interference with the election through the manipulation of the Postal Service.
I thought surely you'd still be crushed under that house in Munchkinland.
Unchained and unstoppable.
We couldn't have done that deal had we stayed in this horrible deal done by John Kerry, who just had no clue as to negotiation.
I'm John Kerry, and I'm reporting for duty.
He never got up and walked. Once he rode his bicycle, remembered he was in an accident. I promised at 73 years old, I said, I'll never be riding a bicycle. He had the helmet, he had the names, the insignias all over. He had insignias like he was a 20-year-old great cyclist from France.
Can I get out of here, please?
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
You understand, of course, that John Kerry is almost as bitter as Hillary Clinton about losing the election. And like Hillary Clinton, he thinks that he was actually elected president in 2004. But his victory, his glorious victory, was not stolen in the Electoral College. It was stolen by the Diebold voting machines in the state of Ohio. And he thinks they turned 60,000 votes around. So he still would have lost the popular vote by 3 million, but he thinks he should have been president. Hillary, on the other hand, thinks she won the popular vote by 3 million, so that means she should be president. Bitter is the word to describe them. At the speech he made this afternoon in front of a group of conservative businessmen in Virginia, the president mentioned how he had opened up the monument, so-called, in the Atlantic Ocean to fishing for the Maine and the other New England fishermen. And he talked about how, he said, what do they call it a monument for? I opened it up to fishing, 5,000 miles. Do you know how much fish and lobsters are in those 5,000 miles? Well, this is breaking news after the president's speech. U.S. and European Union strike deal to eliminate tariffs on American lobster. One goal is to boost sales of Maine lobster to European markets. That's good news. And here's some more good news for the New England area. Governor Chris Sununu is opening up the restaurants of New Hampshire to 100% capacity. That's good. That is a very, very good development for everybody. And I think Chris Sununu never really bought into he played along to a degree. Sometimes you kind of got to go along even when you know something's total BS. He was surrounded. Look who he was surrounded by, though. Janet Mills, Charlie Parker, and Scott in Vermont. They all have drunk the Kool-Aid. They all really believe it. That's scary, isn't it? Time now for the Chump Line.
Rise and shine, Sleepy Joe, now's the time, don't you know, to come out of your basement room. And we can't wait till you debate, stammering through your gloom and doom.
Mr. Vice President, you were great last night. I was? What did I do? If I was that good, could I have some extra tapioca pudding?
Hey Howie, Governor Patrick calling. Wow, that new At Home with Grace video was great. Do us a favor though. Please don't make an At Home with Howie series. Watching you drum your black toe would be almost as bad as this convention. We're gonna be fine.
Yeah, where was Deval Patrick for the convention? And incidentally, if you haven't seen Grace's video, go to HowieCarrShow.com, HowieCarrShow.com, and it's right there at the on the home page. Grace's home video. She explains how she got the job here at the Howie Carr Show, and it's a very funny, very well-produced video. She did it all herself.
And I'm going to do one next week, and I promise I will film it on the horizontally. I made a rookie mistake, and I filmed it the wrong way. But next week, I'll be back with Questions with Grace Part 2, and it'll be filmed the right way.
And you know, despite the fact that she says she she taped it the wrong way, it's still pretty good. It's still pretty funny. If you like Grace and you like to have a few laughs, this is worth checking out this weekend. HowieCarrShow.com. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer. This week, loving the Democrat National Convention and all the uplifting, positive, and patriotic speeches. All the well-rehearsed one-liners, and perhaps for the first time since he gave his fireside chats on television, the first pre-recorded acceptance speech. I'm saying it was live, but Rush is saying he's hearing from a lot of people that they think it was taped and put together, that Joe wasn't capable of even delivering a C-plus effort like he did. We'll see. This will truly be an historic election.
Hey, Howie, I missed the whole Democratic convention. Has anybody got it on tape?
See, you know what side of the fence he comes down on. Here's a 603. I couldn't watch any of Joe Biden's speech. I was too busy watching the Little House on the Prairie marathon on the Hallmark Channel. Couldn't bear Biden. There were a lot of options. Bruce Springsteen, was it, who sung about the 57 channels and there's nothing on? There's a lot more than 57 channels. You can always find something now.
Another Democrat with a plan. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
He's got a plan for the plandemic, the scamdemic. You can't spell pandemic without using the letters DEM, can you?
Howie, Charlie Baker calling. I was disappointed to learn from Senator Harris that there's no vaccine for racism. Until folks in the scientific community can develop a racism vaccine that we can mandate, we need to roll back to phase 1 and shelter in place. Because like COVID, racism doesn't take the summer off.
You have to respect the science. You have to obey the metrics in all of the sectors. And incidentally, if you didn't hear earlier today, the Bureau of Labor Statistics came out with the July employment statistics, and we're number one. Highest unemployment rate in the nation, 16.1% for the second consecutive month.
Hey, Howie. Charlie Parker said COVID-19 will not be taking the summer vacation. But do you think in a couple of weeks, Ed Markey might be taking a permanent vacation?
I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. I think it's a dead even fight right now. They want to talk about a little bit about that tonight on the Fox News channel. I'm going to be on with Martha McCollum around 7:30 or so. They're very amused by the dispute between AOC and Speaker Pelosi. I'm going to say, in 90% of the districts, congressional districts across the United States, I would have to say at least 90%, AOC is a bigger get for an endorsement than Nancy Pelosi.
My name is Joe Biden. In my basement, I'm hiding because I don't want to go out there. The press might have questions that lead to suggestions about all my China affairs. With Hunter and Klein Smith and all of my baggage, I still have a chance. I swear.
Joe's listening to that going, who's Kleinsmith? I'm kind of fuzzy on Hunter, but I'm sure I don't know this guy. What's his name? Klein Smith?
If you look at Kamala Harris's prison to work camp record, she's actually the Democrat who's done the most for jobs of anyone in the country.
Yeah, but those days are behind her. You know, she's she goes with the flow. She's like a weather vane in a stiff wind. You know, just like her new running mate, Joe Biden, for that matter.
In other news, audio has just leaked of Joe Biden plagiarizing John Kerry's 2004 acceptance speech.
I'm Joe Biden, and I'm reporting with duty in my pants. I mean it. Fetch me some new Depends.
You know, getting back to Nancy Pelosi endorsing Joe Kennedy, Nancy Pelosi had to have served at least 30 years in the House with Ed Markey, and yet she endorses not Ed Markey. So does she know something that, well, I was going to say that we don't know, but we know it.
We know about Ed Markey, just like she does.
She's got the direct pipeline to the Jenny's ice cream. She doesn't need him.
That's right. That's right. She has a lot better ice cream than he used to serve on the mean streets of Malden all those many years ago.
Howie, he used to be known as Good Time Charlie Baker. Now it's Closing Time Charlie Baker.
It may be even worse than Closing Time Charlie Baker. Sometimes doesn't it seem like you're doing time in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts? How about Hard Time Charlie Baker?
Do you know who was the most disappointed in Joe Biden's coherent speech last night? Kamala Harris.
I don't think she's deluded in any way. She's probably talked to him a few times. I mean, I think everybody who's watched any of those YouTube compilations, and they are legion, knows exactly what we're dealing with here with Joe Biden.
The one thing Plug's proved is that he can read. As he droned through his tedious screed, he didn't have to squint. It was written in large print. Then they just prayed Joe didn't lose the feed.
Yeah, that would have been a real problem if the teleprompter had gone down. I assume they had multiple backup teleprompters in ready. You'll notice, though, that the speech only ran, 25 minutes? That's very short for an acceptance speech. Remember Clinton when he was president? Sometimes he went on for 90 minutes on his State of the Union address. Trump must have been on for at least an hour and 15 minutes this morning in Virginia. And that was just, and that's the day he's going back to a funeral for his brother. And he could still knock it out of the park for an hour and over an hour.
That was your last chump line message. Thank you for calling Howie Carr, you chump.
That's it for the Chump Line today. The Chump Line is the recorded voicemail message service of the Howie Carr Show. If you want to leave a message, you can call in from 1 to 5 every weekday afternoon. 1 to 5 every weekday afternoon. 844-500-4242. Press 2 for the Chump Line. Leave your message. We may or may not play it at this time each weekday. If you didn't hear your message or you want to hear yet more messages on the Chump Line, go to Chopped Chumps. We post the messages that didn't make the broadcast version of the Chump Line at 7 o'clock every weeknight. Get Chopped Chumps wherever you get your Howie Carr Show podcasts. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer. This week, loving the Democrat National Committee and all the uplifting, positive, and patriotic speeches. All the well-rehearsed one-liners, and perhaps for the first time since FDR gave his fireside chats on television, the first pre-recorded acceptance speech. This will truly be an historic election.
Hey, Howie, I missed the whole Democratic convention. Has anybody got it on tape?
Here's what if I were Lori Loughlin's lawyer, I'd be saying now. Lori, the bad news is you got 2 months to serve. The good news is there are almost 7 million people living in Massachusetts that don't know when their sentence is going to be over. I'm Howie Carr.
You can call him Fat Boy, just don't call him late for dinner. It's Howie Carr.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever, is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
Here's 1 minute of getting to know Jared Diglio.
What would be your last meal on Earth?
Pizza. Cheese pizza. Just regular cheese pizza.
What drink are you going to have with your pizza?
I gotta go Coke. You gotta go Coke with pizza. It's the perfect combination.
Where's your favorite vacation spot?
I'm a staycation kind of guy. I like just staying in my place, but if I had to go to a destination, I love Italy, especially Rome.
If you could live in any state besides Massachusetts, which one would you choose?
Nevada. Wide open land, people leave you alone. Plus, it's not that far from Vegas or LA.
If you weren't in radio, what profession would you be in?
Gigolo.
Favorite comic book character?
Spider-Man. He's been my favorite since I was a kid. He's the most identifiable of the superheroes. He's just kind of a normal guy who's got a lot of problems, but he's got to overcome it and save the day.
Favorite Star Trek character?
I love TNG, but I gotta go with James T. Kirk.
Dogs or cats?
Neither.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's.
Ice cream or cake?
Ice cream.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
We all shop online, and now you can do it a better way with Honey. Honey is the free online shopping tool that automatically finds the best promo codes and applies them to your cart. Just download Honey to your computer and shop on all your favorite websites like normal. When you check out, just click the Apply Coupons button that pops up. Wait a few seconds for Honey to scan its database of all the working coupons on the web. Then watch your price drop. Honey works on nearly every online store, including Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Macy's, Etsy, and more. And Honey has found over $2 billion in savings for its users. That's why it has over 100,000 five-star reviews on the Google Chrome store. It's 100% free to use and installs in seconds. Plus, it's backed by PayPal, so you know it's secure and reliable. Not using Honey is literally passing up free money. So get Honey for free today at joinhoney.com/Howie. That's joinhoney.com/Howie.
Here's 1 minute with Governor
Charlie Parker in Massachusetts.
I'd certainly put myself on that list. I'm a basketball player. I always was.
There's a lot at stake here. This is not a virus to be trifled with or disrespected. Respect the virus.
I have a hard time understanding when we're going to be able to play basketball again.
We can start talking about a gradual, careful, data-driven, phased reopening. Don't let a few nice days step on that.
I need to talk to the Attorney General and find out what the actual parameters of the ruling are. Did this just happen? And the reason I read that story is because I'm a basketball player and I agree. I was first made aware of the discrepancy on this on the day that the registrar resigned.
The vast majority, and I mean like the vast majority of the people who are part of these protests are there to make a point and to make it peacefully. That is so obvious, I'm amazed that anybody could say anything other than that. I would love to be able to open everything up tomorrow. That would be an incredibly irresponsible thing to do.
Hi, my name's Jane Lucas, and I am from the town of South China, Maine.
This is Al from Merrimack, New Hampshire.
Hi, I'm Angela from Brewster on the Cape, and this is the one and the only Howie Carr Show.
Talking about erectile dysfunction isn't easy. Good thing Roman makes treating erectile dysfunction simple, safe, and from the comfort of your own home. Get a free online evaluation today at GetRoman.com/Howie. If approved, you'll get $15 off your first order of erectile dysfunction treatment. GetRoman.com/Howie. Jared, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Which Joe Biden insult best describes you? Damn liar, fat, junkie, ain't black, or lying dog-faced pony soldier?
Sometimes just dog-faced pony soldier. He mixes it up like a good pitcher. You can't come in with the fastball every pitch. I'm going to go with lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Lying dog-faced pony soldier is in the lead at 45%. Ain't black is at 38%. Fat is at 11%. Damn liar is at 5%. And junkie is holding at 1%.
All right. Meanwhile, in the number one state for unemployment, there's 50 new people being laid off this afternoon. Boston Symphony Orchestra. I mean, like all the other cultural groups, they're getting clobbered. The layoffs are the latest in a stream of cost-cutting measures designed to help the organization weather the pandemic. I like the BSO, but it's just, does Charlie Parker realize that these people are all, potential voters, that they're all taxpayers, that they're all human beings. They all have lives they're interested in. They had careers. They have careers. They'd like to think they still have careers.
Did this just happen?
Effectively, immediately, all New Hampshire restaurants can operate at 100% capacity. Again, as long as they continue following state reopening guidelines, including maintaining 6 feet of distance between parties. This was announced by the governor today. Previously, restaurants in 6 northern New Hampshire counties were able to operate at 100% capacity, but the southern counties were restricted to 50%. Over the course of the pandemic, COVID-19 has hit southern part. Yeah, well, just like eastern Massachusetts rather than western Mass. Some restaurants might still, this is from Channel 9, MUR, some restaurants might still be unable to serve as many customers at once as they used to because of the need to keep customers from different parties apart. Other restrictions, such as no standing in bar areas, remain in effect. Another one of these things. So COVID virus can attack you if you're standing up with a drink in your hand in New Hampshire. But if you're sitting down with a drink in your hand, you're immune. Have I got it? Is that the way it works? The change comes after News 9, that's the TV station, reported that bar and restaurant owners were concerned about cooler weather ahead, making it impossible to continue outdoor seating. And of course, restaurants in Massachusetts have exactly the same concerns, but Charlie Baker could not care less. Restaurant owners said that without an easing of the indoor dining restrictions, their businesses wouldn't be able to survive. That's why there's this steady stream of restaurants going out of business, throwing in the towel wherever you go in Massachusetts. They keep thinking, well, this can't go on forever. But it can go on forever because it's given Charlie Parker his jollies. He likes being number one. We're number one. We're number one for unemployment.
We're number one. We're number one.
I'm Howie Carr.
The last few months have been stressful for many, and it's time to do something for yourself. Recently, Grace reminded me of when I had that bad haircut 4 years ago. It was actually more like a buzz cut. Although it wasn't planned, I'm incredibly grateful to DiStefano Hair Restoration. Everyone was able to see that my hair could really grow back. I was annoyed when I couldn't get a haircut because of the shutdown, but I am happy that I at least have hair to cut once more. You can have the hair you've been thinking about for all these years. Dr. Highness did a great job for me, and he will for you too. To learn more, go to hairman.com. You may have more time on your hands now, so take advantage of it and get the hair you've been wanting for years. People always stop me and say, it looks so natural. DiStefano Hair Restoration has 5 locations in New England and is open for business. For more information on location openings, go to hairman.com. Get the hair you've always wanted.
He might not be flashy, but he's there when it counts. Here's 1 minute of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
For the first time in my memory, I agree with Nancy Pelosi. I am indeed the Grim Reaper when it comes to the socialist agenda that they've been ginning up over in the House.
You've watched the fight. You've watched the tactics. But here's what I want to tell you. In the very near future, Judge Kavanaugh will be on the United States Supreme Court.
Noted with great interest the Green New Deal. And give everybody an opportunity to go on record and see how they feel about the Green New Deal. Well, first on the impartiality issue, do you think Chuck Schumer is impartial? Do you think Elizabeth Warren is impartial?
No.
Bernie Sanders is impartial? So let's quit the charade. This is a political exercise. Nobody is supposed to be guilty until proven innocent in the United States of America. Look, we're at an impasse. We can't do anything until the Speaker sends the papers over, so everybody enjoy the holidays.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever, is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investment.
investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
Normally, we give Fredo Cuomo a lot of attention, but lately it's Governor Andrew Cuomo who's been grabbing headlines. Let's take a listen to some of his best moments.
You're an essential worker, so go take a job as an essential worker.
But the people aren't hiring because of...
No, there are people hiring. You can get a job as an essential worker. So now you can go to work and you can be an essential worker and you're not going to kill anyone. The number is down because we brought the number down. God did not do that. Fate did not do that. Destiny did not do that. We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. Because I can all see you're in masterful shape, buff even. It has a very nice floral bouquet. A little I detected lilac, hydrangea, tulips. What does it smell like to you? Tulips, yes. Floral bouquet.
Because if that's who they are, and if they are the extreme conservatives, they have no place in the state of New York.
Here are some rapid-fire questions with Taylor Cormier. If you had to live in a state besides Massachusetts, which would you choose?
Montana. No question about it. When is the last time you've heard of anything happening in Montana? The answer is you haven't. It's quiet. Nobody's going to bother you in Montana.
If you weren't a radio guy, what profession would you be in?
My number one dream job is to be an antique dealer. You know, like the American Pickers? I would love that job. Going through people's old garbage and junk and trying to find that diamond in the rough, and you're always learning as you go. It's a lot of fun to watch, and I think that's why I go antiquing on the weekends.
What is your favorite color?
Blue.
What's your favorite TV show?
The Honeymooners. Jackie Gleason is the most hilarious person on television ever.
What is your favorite soda?
I'm not a big soda guy. It's got to be a special occasion for me to drink soda, but I'm partial to Dr. Pepper.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Here's a 603 text. Come on up. And then he calls us a name I can't repeat on the air, people from Massachusetts. We also have menthols. There's that, too. Yes, we don't have menthols here anymore. That was the first sign that Charlie Parker was a megalomaniac. Here's another 603. You should have seen the stream of cars coming up 93 north today. I'm sure. Anyway, we have one cheap bastard deal for New Hampshire restaurants. We got a few of them left. White Birch Brewing.
I don't think we'll have those for long.
No, that's in Nashua, New Hampshire. You can get a $50 certificate for White Birch Brewing in Nashua, New Hampshire for $25. It's one of Carolyn Carr's favorite places. She likes to go up there. But anyway, now's a better time than ever to get one of those. Go to HowieCarrShow.com and click on store. And we'll try to get some more restaurants now signed up in New Hampshire for cheap bastard deals.
It's so easy to become a popular state during this thing.
Yeah, I know. And somebody's saying, don't give Sununu a pass. He panicked. Look at the nursing home death rate here. We were leading the country in June, 80% probably still. Hey, in the kingdom of the blind, 603, the one-eyed man shall lead.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like in high school, it didn't matter if you had the best house or anything. If you had a basement and there was no parents home, you won the competition.
Right.
Right now, having restaurants open, you're winning that competition.
Right. And just the fact that they are just the other three governors that surround New Hampshire are so ridiculous and unreasonable.
Yeah.
It's he looks like a statesman. And I was disappointed in him earlier for not standing up, but yeah, I'm happy now. I'm happy. Anyway, get those gift certificates. White Birch Brewing in Nashua, $25 for $50 worth of eats and drinks. All right, now it's that time. It's Friday afternoon. You know what that means.
Whatever the laws of
any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action.
Police blotter facts Friday. Geez, I'm starting to sound like Joe Biden. Police blotter facts Friday. And what we ask you to do is send in your funny stories or items from your local daily or weekly newspaper. You know, some papers have a police blotter that's written by the police department, or some call it the police log. It's a column. And it can be a standalone story from your local media outlet. Just as long as it's funny, send it along to grace@howiecarrshow.com, grace@howiecarrshow.com, or you can still fax them to us at 857-284-8864, 857-284-8864. And at this time, every Friday afternoon, we read the funniest ones of the week, in our opinion. Any kind of stories involving the local constabulary that are a little bit humorous. And the two best entries of the week, in our humble opinion, get a nice prize. What do they get this week, Grace?
They'll be getting a copy of your book, What Really Happened.
Okay.
All right, so let's get going here. These are the runners-up. They do not win a prize. Half-dressed woman damages pizza shop.
Half-dressed. Now, what half was not dressed?
So I guess if you're a woman and they say it's half-dressed, she was wearing only a bra and jeans. This is in Brunswick, Ohio.
I don't even think that qualifies as half-dressed.
Oh.
Maybe 2/3 dressed.
Yeah, I would agree. Police responded to a call about a woman damaging the Ohio Pie Building at 8:59
The Ohio
p.m.
Pie Building?
Yeah.
Is that where they make pies?
Pizza pies.
Oh.
The woman was described as highly intoxicated and was found at the scene wearing only a bra and jeans, with incoherent speech and unable to take care of her well-being. I thought that said wobbling for a second.
Did she have a glassy-eyed stare?
That usually comes with, balance and things like that.
Yes.
Florida man floods jail cell by repeatedly flushing toilet. So this is an interesting tactic. This is out of Melbourne, Florida.
This is done in dorms all the time.
Yeah, this happened at my high school once.
And also, in high schools, in middle schools, probably even in elementary schools.
It's so mean, though, because someone has to clean it up. It's
right.
just so selfish. A man who was apparently upset about being arrested repeatedly flushed the toilet in his cell until it flooded the area, then made a death threat toward the officer who took him into custody. Police said a man flagged them down Wednesday to let them know that a man later identified as John Adams, 40.
John Adams. A republic, if you could keep it. Oh, no, that was Benjamin Franklin.
Do you want to know the craziest part? You know why he was arrested?
Why?
He stole a bicycle. A Schwinn bicycle.
John Kerry? Did it belong to John Kerry?
Well, this guy's 40.
John Adams is a popular name, though. Remember the state trooper who was fired recently? I wrote about him in my column. He was John Adams, too.
Renaissance.
And then, of course, you got the Adams boys, John Adams and John Quincy Adams, his son. Was his middle name Quincy, by the way?
It says the victim confronted Adams and got the $150 bike back, but he still...
Oh, that was John Kerry doesn't care about that bike. John Kerry doesn't spend less than $8,000 on a bike.
But he still wanted to press charges since he had surveillance video of the incident and his family was home at the time. They located Adams nearby and took him into custody. He became extremely irate, started banging on the cell doors, and then flushed the cell toilet repeatedly until the booking room flooded.
And he was finally vanquished by Thomas Jefferson.
Yes, exactly. Utah man throws his wife in the river during a fight over dinner arrangements.
Where were they having dinner? Down by the river?
How did
that work out?
A Utah man was arrested Monday for allegedly tossing his wife into a river at a waterside resort in a fit of rage over dinner arrangements. Douglas Harold Green is accused of carrying out the attack Sunday at the Provo River Resort. Green's wife told police the two were arguing over dinner arrangements.
So it was kind of a nice place, it sounds like.
Yeah, he reportedly became angry and threatened to drown her in the river. Then he dragged his wife into the water and forced her in. Apparently there was someone nearby who saw the whole thing go down. I'm guessing...
Where were the mask police when you really need them? You know, what were they, just checking out some teenagers?
Well, maybe they both had masks on, so they said, move along, and they missed the incident. I mean, the thing is, it says an argument over dinner arrangements. And Jared, I don't know if you'll agree with me here, but I would feel as though the argument is the wife can't decide where to go to dinner or something like that. She can't decide what she wants to eat.
That is kind of a drownable offense. Yeah, I have to agree.
I am going to go out on a limb and say that there was alcohol involved in this anger.
Was it a liquid dinner arrangement? Is that what?
I don't know. I don't know if people tend to go for alcohol before they go down to the river. I'm more of an ocean girl myself.
It's Utah.
No,
so
it's Utah, though.
not.
That's what I was saying. It was more like it's a Utah thing rather than a river thing. If there was no alcohol involved. Mormons, they don't.
Oh, right. Of course. Near naked woman unable to tell police how her car overturned on the expressway.
This is a local story.
So here, we need the captain
I know,
to weigh in
because
here.
I sent this one in.
So, Howie, and this has come up a lot already in this segment where we have people who are near naked, half naked. What is the ruling? Do we play the naked song?
Well, I want to know how naked was she? Tell me.
Okay. Live Boston reports a woman flipped her car around 3 a.m. on I-93 South, about a mile before the Neponset Circle exit. The apparent driver found next to the car was unable to tell state police how the car flipped or what had happened to her clothes.
Was she able to say where she had her last drink?
She was taken to a local hospital.
They asked that,
So it doesn't say, like in the last story, it said the woman had a bra and jeans on. In this story, it does not say. It just says near naked. I think near naked qualifies as a song.
I would say Randy.
Near.
It's something about that this week. It's like everyone's so close, but no cigar. They're close to the full thing, but they keep their pants on.
Yeah.
Beware of man with machetes outside the Dedham Hooters. A lot of local stories this week. Massachusetts is really going down the tubes fast.
People are angry that they have to socially distance at a Hooters. So that's why we now have this machete problem.
To be fair, I think the waitresses at Hooters always suggest social distance when they're, serving people. Stay far away.
So what happened?
Dedham police report a man was robbed by two other men, one armed with a machete, outside the Hooters on Providence Highway around 11:55 p.m. on Monday. Machete man threatened the victim with his machete, as one usually
What else
does,
would he be if his name is Machete Man?
and demanded money. The second suspect reportedly placed an object against the victim's back.
Object Man.
And took a sum of money from the victim. Both suspects fled the area.
Grace, I'm very concerned about this. Now, there's been some senseless street violence at the Encore Casino in Everett the last few nights, knifings, shootings, and now you're telling me that there's a problem on the other side of the city at the Hooters in Dedham.
Yeah.
How are we going to get this economy up and moving again?
I don't know. I totally agree. And this is
where do you go?
It's one thing to bring your machetes places, but please keep them away from the Hooters. People need their wings. This is a selfish move. I'm sure they had to shut down the whole parking lot once this happened. By the way,
maybe we could do a spot for Encore Casino. Hi, this is Encore Casino. Yes, we have some stabbings, and yes, we have an occasional shooting out in the parking lot. But so far, no machete attacks. That's why we have security people.
Are you feeling lucky? It says anybody who knows a guy with a machete who's just come into some money should contact the detective in this case. Very specific things. But if you do know that, then you're probably on the right track.
Here's a quote from John Adams.
Oh, God.
Our Constitution was only made for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other.
And give me your damn bike. That's how he finished that quote.
I don't think this John Adams is adequate.
Hand over the Schwinn.
To our Constitution.
Florida man takes 9-mile turnpike ride on hood of a tractor trailer. Clad only in a T-shirt and gray underwear. Once again, we are so close.
It's a guy. No.
No, I agree. A Florida man took a 9-mile ride on the hood of a tractor trailer traveling northbound on Florida's Turnpike this Saturday afternoon. The scantily clad man jumped on the hood as it was rolling down the highway.
That's a violation of journalistic conventions. Only women can be scantily clad.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm so happy I went to the Howie Carr School of Journalism, so I can...
You know, you've heard of the AP, Associated Press style book. This is the HC style book.
Yeah, Howie would have seen that as the editor and said, "Get this out of here."
Yeah.
At one point in the video, the man...
You call him sans culotte.
Sans culotte. The man on the hood of the semi-truck can be heard yelling, "Call the police!" The video then shows the man trying to punch his way through the tractor trailer's
You want the guy that
windshield.
sold him some pants. They call the guy who sold me some pants.
I think that the stories in Police Blotter that would be the most frustrating are stories like this, where this guy's day is just inconvenience. This Looney Tune jumps. It's one thing if it's like, you know, father-son getting a fight over beer or something, because it's like, okay, that's your family. That's part of your problem. But this guy's just riding his truck, you know?
I think riding on a truck on the Florida Turnpike on the hood for 9 miles is pretty scary.
He should join Fear Factor. By the way, guys, Police Blotter Facts Friday is brought to you by Piantadosi Baking Company, celebrating over 100 years of baking excellence since 1916. Everyone should check out Piantadosi Bread. They sponsor this segment. They sponsor Hate Mail Monday. They're the best bread in the business. Make sure you check them out at your local markets.
857 says, do we know if these naked women were guilty or not guilty? No, we don't know that. No, we have a picture.
Howie sent me these stories, if you can't tell. That's why he's such an expert on them.
We have a picture of the car turned over on the expressway, but I checked it out with a magnifying glass, and I didn't see any naked women in it.
Howie was a real detective trying to find these photos. Where are the pictures?
I am Inspector Carr, after all. Talking about erectile dysfunction isn't easy. Usually we just brush it off or blame ourselves, saying things like, I lost my mojo. Or we avoid it altogether with excuses like, I had a long day at work, or, sorry, honey, I'm just not feeling it. But with Roman, it is easy to talk about it with a healthcare professional who can prescribe real medication. It's simple, safe, and totally discreet. It's still difficult to make an appointment at a medical clinic or wherever, and going to the pharmacy requires the usual mask and all the rest of that nonsense. With Roman, you don't have to worry about any of that. You can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for erectile dysfunction, all from the comfort and privacy of your own home. A healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, Roman will ship it to you with free 2-day shipping. The whole process is straightforward, simple, and discreet. Getting started is simple. Just go to getroman.com/Howie and complete an online visit. Erectile dysfunction used to be tough to tackle, but now there's Roman. Complete an online visit today to connect with a healthcare professional and take care of it. Go to getroman.com/Howie today. If approved, you'll get $15 off your first order of erectile dysfunction treatment. That's getroman.com/Howie. getroman.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
Don't touch that dial. Howie Carr will be back after this.
Biden might be the frontrunner for the Democrats, but that isn't stopping him from serving up a whole lot of gaffes. Take a listen.
I believe that the president is literally an existential threat to America for 3 reasons. One, he is a genuine threat to our... I had permission to hug Lonnie. He says, let's make America great again. Let's make America America again. I think I'm either low IQ or slow, or I don't know what I am. Slow Joe Biden. Thanks for the Mary, and I'm going to be here a lot. I want the press to know she pulled me close. I just want you to know, okay? President Trump inherited an economy from Obama Biden. By the way, he gave me permission to touch it. They can't even figure out how to deal with the fact that they have this great division between the China Sea and the mountains in the West.
With all the uncertainty in the world, feeling safe at home has never been more important. It's why I want to talk to you about Simply Safe Home Security. They're longtime friends of the Howie Carr Show, and for good reason. Simply Safe has made it easy to finally get comprehensive protection for your home. There's no technician or salesperson that needs to come and disrupt your house. You don't need to pay any outrageous monthly fees or sign a 2-year contract. You just order online, set it up yourself in under an hour, and your home is protected 24/7 with emergency dispatch for break-ins, fire, and more. All for just 50 cents a day. And we're not the only fans of Simply Safe. U.S. News and World Report named Simply Safe Best Overall Home Security of 2020. Go to simplysafehowie.com to try it out for yourself. That's simplysafehowie.com to make sure they know that our show sent you. That's simplysafehowie.com.
The coronavirus has made our lives unpredictable, but one thing you can always count on, the White House press corps will always ask President Trump ridiculous questions.
Question, Mr. President, should Americans have to decide between staying healthy and going back to work?
Hey, just checking on oil again today. I was wondering
Oil?
Yeah.
Where is it today?
Well, I was wondering if you...
No, where's the price? Give me the price.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
How can you ask a question when you don't know the price?
I'll look it up for you.
Okay, let me do somebody else.
What do you say the Americans who are scared, though? I guess nearly 200 dead, 14,000 who are sick, millions, as you witness, who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
Well, where did he come from, the Inspector General? What's his name?
It came from the Inspector General
what's his name?
report. I don't know his name.
Some of your allies have been bashing these doctors. Would you tell them to cut it out?
Today you tweeted the invisible enemy will soon be in full retreat. Given it's invisible without widespread testing, how would you know?
This is Alex from East Bridgewater, Mass.
This is Ann in Saco, Maine.
This is John Zuko from Hanson, Mass. And this is the Howie Carr Show.
917 says, of course the guy on the Florida Turnpike was semi-dressed. He was on a semi-truck.
Ha, 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 ha. Very good. Okay, guys, I have a few more runners up before we get to our winners. If you can believe this, we have another bike story in the news. Burglar falls.
Bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to.
Well, who wanted to ride their bicycle this time?
Burglar falls from bicycle that he stole from woman's apartment. Mohammed Farah was charged with
another one of those wacky Mohammeds.
He fell off a bicycle that he stole from a woman's apartment.
Where is this?
Police responded to, this is in Tennessee. Police responded to a call of a man lying in the street with a bicycle.
I was lying in the street when I fell off my bicycle. John Kerry was lying in the street after he fell off his.
I know, it's crazy. Chicago man busted selling $2,700 sweaters stolen by looters to undercover cops. This is a feel-good story. I
love this story.
The guy went online to a store, a mobile marketplace called Offer Up, and he offered up this sweater that was looted from a store. And the police,
on the $1 million mile or whatever they call it.
And the police met up with him. They offered him $800 for it, and then they arrested him at a strip mall.
Did you give us a little biography of the guy? He lives at home with his parents, and he has 3 kids. I wonder who contributes more to the child support for the 3 kids, me and you, or him?
Yeah. Look in a mirror. That's probably your answer. Okay, guys, so here are my 2 winners. A North Carolina woman was shot in the arm with a BB gun after she pulled up a Trump sign near her brother's yard. Peggy Fox thought that somebody was playing a prank when she pulled up to her brother's home in Lincolnton. She told the news that her brother never expresses his political views, so she went to remove the sign. As she pulled it out of the ground, she was shot by her brother's neighbor, Worth McAllister. Get off my lawn. He was 76.
Worth, you done shot me.
I felt pain in my arm.
I didn't need no bird shot this Friday afternoon.
She said she didn't realize the sign was on McAllister's property and she would have put it back if he asked. He didn't ask. He just shot you with the BB gun.
No charges are pending against Worth, are there? I hope not.
Well, let's see. When police arrived, Fox went to the hospital. I don't believe so. It doesn't say.
Good.
Okay, and our last winner, I think you'll enjoy this story, Howie, mostly because you sent it to me. Men broke into South Florida homes while wearing GPS ankle monitors. Hollywood, Florida.
Wait, they work outside my home?
A group of men already on pre-trial release for previous offenses are behind a string of burglaries carried out while wearing ankle monitors that track their location. Authorities seized more than $150,000 in cash, an AK-47.
This is Broward County, where they had all these reports that this guy was going to shoot up the high school, and they never bothered to follow up on him. I mean, they had no reason to believe they were going to get busted just because they were wearing ankle bracelets.
Zion O'Dane Denver Hall.
Zion? Yeah.
21. Mm-hmm. Tyrek Devontae Williams.
Is it Tyrek or Tyreek?
Tyrek.
Okay.
If you're going by the...
Okay.
Tremaine Raekwon Hill.
Uh-huh.
They stole iPads, jewelry, ammunition, blank checks, a vehicle. No word on if they stole a bike, though.
Did they steal any brains? All right, we'll be right back. I'm Howie Carr.
I want to ride
Alexander
my
Hamilton said, "Those who stand for nothing will fall for anything." This is Toby from Cape Gunworks. When our founding fathers drafted the Second Amendment, there was no question of its meaning. Today, if you have questions, come to Cape Gunworks for some advice, training, or to send a few rounds downrange. We have a fully stocked pro shop with a huge selection of guns, crossbows, archery, classes, rentals, a 15-lane range, and a friendly staff. Come on down to Cape Gunworks, Airport Road, Hyannis, or capegunworks.com.
Recently, I had Global Marble and Granite install new gorgeous marble countertops in my home. Global Marble and Granite has the largest selection of marble, granite, and quartz on Cape Cod. They also serve Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, and all of New England. People are spending more time in their homes, so now is the best time to upgrade your kitchen or baths. Your home is your biggest investment, and Global Marble and Granite is ready to increase the value. Visit their site and see my kitchen's before and after shots. Go to globalcapecod.com or call 508-771-1001. And now, a minute of wisdom from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Millennials and people and, Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And this is the war. This is our World War II.
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than about being morally right.
But being factually correct is important.
It's absolutely important.
And if we work our butts off to make sure that we take back all three chambers of Congress, all three chambers of government, the presidency, the Senate, and the House in 2020, we can't start working in 2020.
There are plenty of differences between Trump and the Democrats running for 2020, but the main one is Trump's pretty funny. Take a listen.
What advice would you give to the 25-year-old Donald Trump knowing what you know today?
Don't run for president. I'm not a drinker. I can honestly say I never had a beer in my life, okay? It's one of my only good traits. I don't drink. Whenever they're looking for something good, I say, I never had a glass of alcohol. I've never had alcohol. Can you imagine if I had? What a mess I'd be. I'd be the world's worst. Other countries, big countries, India and others, we had to pay because they considered them a growing country. They were a growing country. I said, what are we? Are we allowed to grow too? Okay. No, are we allowed to grow?
I try like hell to hide that bald spot, folks. I work harder. Doesn't look bad. Hey, we're hanging in.
I should have saved the Pocahontas thing for another year. Because I've destroyed her political career, and now I won't get a chance to run against her, and I would have loved it. I don't want to knock out all of the good stuff and end up with somebody that's actually got talent. That would be terrible.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
Joe Biden might be running for president in 2020, so we should play some of his greatest hits.
Barack and I finally reduced the disparity in sentencing, which we've been fighting to eliminate, in crack cocaine versus powder cocaine. It was a big mistake when it was made. We thought we were told by the experts that crack, you never go back.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun. If there's ever a problem, just walk out on the balcony, put that double-barrel shotgun, and fire 2 blasts. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Give me a break. That's a bunch of malarkey.
The 3-letter word, jobs. Jobs. Jobs.
One man stands ready to deliver change we desperately need. A man I'm proud to call my friend. A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America.
And now, some of my favorite fake Indian cuts of all time.
I'm not going to ask you for your favorite curse word. Actually, I am. Do you have a favorite curse word?
Poop.
Poop? Oh, that's a goody two-shoes favorite curse word if I ever heard one.
Are you kidding? Have you ever seen a woman like me look you straight in the face after you finished some long explanation of something and then just said, poop?
Hold on a sec. I'm going to get me a beer.
I am not sure what she's talking about as far as a rally with.
It was a rally in Bern, Oregon, is that you have to figure out who you are. I grew up in a family that was barely hanging on to the ragged edge of the middle class. And my Aunt Bee has walked by that picture at least 1,000 times, remarked that her father, my papa, had high cheekbones like all of the Indians did.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Here are some rapid-fire questions with Taylor Cormier. What is one thing about you that might surprise people?
This just came up the other day, and I had forgotten I had done it, so it was kind of a surprise to me. I'm in a zombie movie, and that came about through an old radio job. I was interviewing somebody. They were doing a casting call for extras. I gave them the idea of doing a zombie scene in our radio station, and I was attacked by zombies in my own radio studio. It's a corny movie, but it's supposed to be that way, and I think I did a great job.
Dogs or cats?
Cats. I've grown up with cats. We have a cat now. They're just easier to take care of. You can leave them throughout the whole day, and they're going to be just fine. In fact, they won't even care that you're gone. They'll be glad you're gone.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
McDonald's or Burger King?
Used to be Burger King. They had better fries way back when, but now it's McDonald's.
Sweet or salty?
Salty.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
What is your least favorite Frank Sinatra song to sing?
My Way in New York. I can't stand My Way. It's a very self-promoting song, and New York's very difficult to sing.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Is Kennedy Babylon 2 your last book?
No, if I think of another topic for a book I want to write, I'll go for it. But I think it's the last of my Kennedy Babylon series. I made Kennedy Babylon 2 kind of long because I wanted to get everything in there. Now there's other stuff I could write about, but I'm Kennedy'd out.
Since having the sleeve operation, do you miss not eating big meals?
No, I don't. I can still eat what I used to eat. I just can't eat as much. I'm now very surprised how much I used to eat. I'm surprised at how much people I eat with consume. It's just hard.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
So it's with great honor and humility, I accept this nomination for President of the United States of America.
You did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did.
He delivered a speech whose themes fit far better in an acceptance speech from Ronald Reagan.
You sure about that?
For the Lord's sake, this is the United States of America. And there's never been anything we've been able to accomplish when we've done it together.
There it is! There it is!
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
I'm Hunter Biden.
And I'm Ashley Biden.
Joe Biden is our dad.
His son walked out with $1.5 billion to manage. That's millions of dollars a year. And the son didn't even have a job before that. He walked out of there in 10 minutes with
marijuana joints, pills, Quaalude, Valium, yellow ones, red ones, cocaine grinder, drug needles.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
Well, Mika, I'm really worried that there will be direct interference with the election through the manipulation of the Postal Service.
I thought surely you'd still be crushed under that house in Munchkinland.
Unchained and unstoppable.
We couldn't have done that deal had we stayed in this horrible deal done by John Kerry, who just had no clue as to negotiation.
I'm John Kerry, and I'm reporting for duty.
He never got up and walked. Once he rode his bicycle, remembered he was in an accident. I promised at 73 years old, I said, I'll never be riding a bicycle. He had the helmet, he had the names, the insignias all over. He had insignias like he was a 20-year-old great cyclist from France.
Can I get out of here, please?
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
844-500-4242. Dr. Matt is in the house to answer your questions about dogs and cats. Just a couple of quick updates on the panic of 2020. 13 deaths today of COVID in Massachusetts. 8 of the 13 occurred in nursing homes, as always. That's about normal. We've now passed the grim milestone of 5,700 deaths, 5,701 deaths in the nursing homes out of 8,600. And has your child been told that he can't go to, or he or she can't go to UMass Amherst for the fall semester? Probably, if they are into UMass Amherst. The University of Massachusetts Amherst has started releasing its latest COVID-19 testing results following students moving into campus this week. In all, a total of 3,368 tests were conducted as of August 20th, yesterday. Of those, there were 3 cumulative positive cases and 1 new positive. 1 new positive case out of 3,368. And the school is more or less shut down. Kind of like the state of Massachusetts.
It's a grim statistic. They're always grim.
It's a grim milestone. Miles. It has to be a milestone. All right. Okay. 844-500-4242. Dr. Matt is here. He's the house veterinarian of the Howie Carr Show, and he's here to answer any of your questions about your pet. And again, Dr. Matt, I thank you for taking care of Gooner so well in her last days, and you kept her alive for an extra few months for sure.
Well, it was my privilege.
And she, it's good, and I want you to take that food with you tonight.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm trying to talk the mailroom manager into getting another dog, but she wants to wait a little while.
Most people get Kowloons when they come in here. I get Purina.
So I'm doing fine though. I miss her, but
it is tough. Yeah, we were talking about it earlier about how people respond to their pet's death, and veterinarians actually go to a lot of grief counseling seminars. And I thought there was a great line from a psychiatrist a couple of years ago when she said, people say that pet death is like a death in the family. And she said, that's wrong. She goes, it is a death in the family. And I really thought that was well put, because I think that, certainly when I've had a pet pass away, I've been a lot more upset than, some of my relatives.
Yeah. People you don't see.
People that you don't see and don't really think about that much. Yeah.
Right. You think about the animal. Yeah. So it's, again, thanks for everything. And you did a fantastic job, and
Thank
you did keep her alive. And where can people go if they need your services?
I'm at the Ipswich Animal Hospital, and our number is 978-948-8189.
Do us one more. Give it again.
978-948-8189.
8189. Okay. 844-500-4242 if you have a question, and you can also text us the questions too. That's an easy way to get that if you can't stay on the line. Just text Howie to 63566 and get it, and you can get in. And anything people need to be thinking about as the summer winds down a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, if kids actually are going back to school, we start to see dogs with some behavioral problems associated with kids going back to school, especially with this COVID, where the dogs have had so much attention and so much activity around the house. Suddenly, when the house empties out again, we tend to see a lot of behavior problems in springtime when kids come home for the summer, and then in fall when kids head off to school.
How about the pounds? Are they still empty? Are people starting to return the pets?
The New England shelters have always been fantastic about getting the pets adopted out, and so good that actually most of the pets that come into New England come in from other areas of the country. So there's always animals from Alabama and Mississippi and Florida that needs home,
right.
and Georgia too. So.
And then there's the hurricane season. You might
Absolutely.
Get some from the islands. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the first big influx of dogs from the south was the New Orleans hurricane. That wasn't Katrina. That was it. Yeah, that was the first time we saw a lot come in from the south.
844-500-4242 if you have any questions for Dr. Matt. Linda, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Linda.
Hi, Howie and Dr. Matt.
Hi.
I have a 6-year-old rescue cat. I got him from a rescue organization because there weren't any other cats left in the shelters recently. So, and I've had him for about 6 months, and he's warmed up to me slowly. But this last week, he started defecating in the living room, and I've put boundary down and all that other stuff, and so I guess I need some advice.
Sure. How many litter boxes do you have in your house?
I have 2.
Okay. On that floor or on a different floor?
On a different floor in the basement.
Yeah.
I'm not going to I don't want to put a litter box in the living room.
No, I understand that completely. Although cats, what I've had a good luck with is putting a litter box near where they're going to the bathroom and slowly moving it to where you want. Cats are sometimes, they don't like where the litter box is, and this is how they protest. Certainly, if I'm assuming the cat's been evaluated a couple of times going through the shelter process, so I'm just presuming that it's healthy.
Right.
It's not having diarrhea or anything. So if we're going to presume this is behavioral, that's the first thing I'd try. If you have a covered litter box, I'd take the cover off. If you don't have a covered litter box, I'd put a cover on it. You want to just change things to see what the cat wants.
Okay, good luck, Linda.
Okay,
I gotta.
Okay, thank
you. Okay, thanks. 603 says, I have a question. I have an 11-week-old German Shepherd puppy. My doctor is recommending the pain hip assessment for hip dysplasia, and if positive, and the juvenile pubic, I don't know what that is.
Symphodesis.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the few times when you can really step in and do something about hip dysplasia in a young dog that can affect them for their entire life, and the procedure is very simple. So I'm absolutely, German Shepherd has a very high rate of hip dysplasia, up to 30%. So you really have almost a 1 in 3 chance of
and that can really cut down on their lifespan, right?
It can make them painful their entire life, and then you euthanize them early because they can't walk. So this is where you can step in. So I'm 4 square for checking these guys young.
Okay. Thanks for the text. Again, 63566. Gretchen, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Gretchen.
Hi, Dr. Matt. Thank you.
Hi, Gretchen.
Hi, Howie. How are you?
Good.
I would like to ask you if I'm doing something wrong. I do not own a pet now. I've been trying to find a rescue from a shelter since the middle of March. I have had no luck. I've sent out tons of applications. I've been approved, and I'm just absolutely beating a dead horse here.
Okay, what are you trying to, a dog or a cat?
I want a dog.
Okay.
I'd like a dog, a small female, 1 to 4 years.
Sure.
Doesn't matter what
outrageous.
it looks like.
Right.
I just would like, and what am I doing wrong?
Well, they do put you through the ringer to try to make sure that. But if you've been approved, then I don't see any reason why you couldn't get one. But I would just keep trying. Honestly, I think there's probably a dog out there for you. You know, having been an adopter of dogs and children, I will tell you the right one will come along at the right time.
Okay. Oh, I certainly hope so. I thought you had a magic idea for me.
You don't have any particular place that's got a lot of them, do you?
I don't know. All the shelters, they tend to have pulses of dogs, and then they sort of empty out. So you just need to keep the drumbeat up, and then you'll hit it just right, and they'll have something for you.
You tried Pug Rescue of New England, Gretchen?
Sorry?
Pug Rescue of New England. Prone, it's called.
Oh, it's a good idea. It's a size that I want.
Yeah, it is. That's what I was saying.
Pug Rescue of New England.
Yeah, Prone. I checked them out a couple of weeks ago just to see what they had, and they had they had a bunch of dogs, but they only had one pug. So check them out, Gretchen.
Maybe a puggle.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for that.
All right.
Tip.
Thanks, Gretchen. Lori, you're next. Or we'll take a break, and then we'll come right back. I didn't know how far along we were. 844-500-4242, and if you want to call Dr. Matt, his number is 978-948-8189. I'm Howie Carr.
Keep it here. The captain will be back after this.
Campers, are you thinking about getting a new or used RV this year? This is Howie Carr, and Cold Springs RV is ready for you. The 2021 models are now arriving daily, but they won't last long. After one visit, you will understand why they are a one-stop shop for all things camping. With all the top RV brands, a new state-of-the-art service center, a new RV body shop, and a huge store full of accessories, you don't need to go anywhere else. If it is service you need, the brand new state-of-the-art service facility is ready for you. They service all makes and brands. If your RV needs body work, they have you covered. They can help you with collision repair, roof replacement, or even a new paint job. From minor repairs to major insurance jobs, Cold Springs RV can do it all. As a full-service RV dealer, you know they can fix just about anything. If you are a service technician and want to work for the best, ask about employment today. Cold Springs RV, Route 114 in Ware, New Hampshire. ColdSpringsRV.com, your destination for all things camping.
Normally, we give Fredo Cuomo a lot of attention, but lately it's Governor Andrew Cuomo who's been grabbing headlines. Let's take a listen to some of his best moments.
You're an essential worker, so go take a job as an essential worker.
But the people aren't hiring because of the
No, there are people hiring. You can get a job as an essential worker. So now you can go to work and you can be an essential worker and you're not going to kill anyone. The number is down because we brought the number down. God did not do that. Fate did not do that. Destiny did not do that. We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. Because I can all see you are in masterful shape, buff even. It has a very nice floral bouquet. A little I detected lilac, hydrangea, tulips. What does it smell like to you? Tulips, yes. Floral bouquet.
Because if that's who they are, and if they are the extreme conservatives, they have no place in the state of New York.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever, is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Did you have any pets when you were younger?
I had a cat named Dexter. That was my first pet. And then I had possession of 2 poodles when I lived in Palm Beach, Princess and Frisky. They weren't really my dogs, but I took care of them. They lived with me. So they were my dogs. I love those poodles.
When you were a kid, what was the best gift you ever received?
I got this wooden fort from FAO Schwartz in Palm Beach, about the age of 6 or 7. 10 soldiers to go along with it. Such a cool fort. I had that fort for like maybe close to 10 years.
What is your all-time favorite movie?
Probably Goodfellas. I love Goodfellas. I love it even more than The Godfather.
What is your favorite dessert?
Oh, that's a tough one. Probably chocolate ice cream, followed by vanilla ice cream, followed by coffee ice cream.
Hi, this is Val from Longmeadow, Mass.
Hi, this is Tony and Pietra from Haverhill, Massachusetts.
This is Myrnie in Fairfax County, Virginia, and this is the Howie Carr Show.
Talking about erectile dysfunction isn't easy. Good thing Roman makes treating erectile dysfunction simple, safe, and from the comfort of your own home. Get a free online evaluation today at GetRoman.com/Howie. If approved, you'll get $15 off your first order of erectile dysfunction treatment. GetRoman.com/Howie. Jared, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Which Joe Biden insult best describes you? Damn liar, fat, junkie, ain't black, or lying dog-faced pony soldier?
I'm a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
46% of the audience is as well. Second place is ain't black at 36%.
All right. We're with Dr. Matt, the house vet of the Howie Carr Show, the house horse doctor, as they used to say in the South, as I just discovered reading a book. That's what they used to call vets, because most of their work was horses, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
This pet segment is brought to you by Genesis 950. I know a lot of you have issues with your dogs or cats having accidents around the house, like Linda, the first one we talked to. In fact, I'm sure we're going to hear all about those issues. We already are. Before you get a new carpet, try Genesis 950. You can use it in a carpet cleaning machine, and it's green, so it's safe for family and pets. Order a gallon direct at genesis950.com. Enter code Howie to get more than a $10 value in savings, including a spray bottle and free shipping. That's genesis950.com. Enter code Howie. Pat, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Pat. You there, Pat?
Hi, Dr. Matt.
Hi, Pat.
Yes. So my wife and I as well have a rescue from Mississippi. She's 9 months old now. We got her in I guess around April.
Dog or cat?
So my wife was able to bring her to work, for a while with her because of the whole COVID thing. But she's really hot and cold with me. Sometimes she's great, and then other times she'll bark at me like she doesn't even know me. I don't know if you had any ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I think that dogs tend to be a little bit more threatened by men, which is one of the reasons that no client ever comes into my clinic and says, hey, no guy comes in and says, hey, the dog's behaving for the wife and kids, but ignores me. They're a little bit more fearful of the guy, bigger person, deeper voice, and your dog may have bonded to your wife and is now actually protecting her from you. So sometimes you need a little alone time with the dog. You need to start doing training stuff with the dog so the dog is listening to your voice and obeying. That establishes a little bit more of a relationship. Treats don't hurt either. You can, whoever said you can't buy friends never owned a dog. You can buy friends.
Okay, so I need the better treats then.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Talk to Howie about that. He's the expert.
Short ribs just immediately came to mind. Chicken tenders, butcher box. Anything. Chicken fingers are fantastic. Pesto chickens, it's a good way to a dog's heart too. Pat, thanks for the call. My dog passed away in March. Has the doctor seen a lot of animals passing away in the months of March and April, maybe due to the Kung flu?
I don't think so. I don't think we've seen any great increase. I do think there's some form of biorhythm. I do tend to think we see more deaths around the shortest days of the year. So Christmas, New Year's, we do tend to see a little bit more deaths.
My dog is scared to have his nails clipped. He wears down 3 of 4 paws, but won't let us clip his one paw. What should I do? That's for me.
Either a groomer or a veterinarian, probably your best bet. Yeah, you need to, untrimmed nails can eventually become a health issue. Veterinarians, at least our clinic, doesn't mind being the bad guy and going ahead and trimming him. Then you can be the good guy.
Lori, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Lori.
Hi, Dr. Matt. Hi, Howie. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I have 3 cats, and one of the cats has a very bizarre behavior that he's had for a few years. Mostly in the evening, he attacks his backside as if he's being bit by something, and will actually run in circles, almost like he's chasing his tail. And from what I can find out online, it may be like hyperesia. I don't know if
the term is called hyperesthesia and is the opposite of anesthesia. So they're
okay.
A cat with hyperesthesia feels pain, and it's called non-noxious stimuli. So if you're petting them, then they feel pain, and that really it is a good thing to bring to the attention of your veterinarian.
So you can't pet the dog? You can't pet?
Yeah, you scratch them, and they cry or they attack you because they're actually painful. Ooh. Yeah, and I used to think the cat. Yeah. So you know. Once upon a time, you'd go, okay, well, the cat's just being a jerk. Well, but they've done studies on these guys, and the pain areas in their brain light up when you touch them.
So. I learned something every segment here with Dr. Matt. 617, our 15-year-old Puggle was tested for Cushing, and it was negative. What could cause her to be so thirsty? She's still very active, walks every day. What is Cushing?
Cushing's disease is the opposite of Addison's disease, which is what President Kennedy had. This is an overactive adrenal gland. It's usually caused by a small pituitary tumor, which is signaling the adrenal to make too much cortisol. Cortisol will drive a dog's thirst up. So this is negative for Cushing. So I'm assuming that the dog's been tested for kidney disease and is testing negative for kidney disease. So there's a couple of things left. There's 2 forms of diabetes. Generally, we think of diabetes as sugar in the urine, but there's another form of diabetes called diabetes insipidus, where the dog is now no longer responding to the hormone that tells the kidney to concentrate urine and reserve water back in the body. And then some dogs just develop a behavioral desire to drink a lot of water, and that goes by a bunch of fancy names, but psychogenic water consumption, or the fancy term is called primary polydipsia. And
we got a lot of people want to talk. We're coming up on the break. Hang on, everybody. We're going to get to everybody next segment. 781, we have a 14-year-old female rat terrier that has seizures when she walks into direct sunlight. We think it may be focal seizures. Is there any treatment available?
Yeah, I definitely would consult your veterinarian. There's plenty of anti-seizure medications out there, and you might be able to find something that works.
All right. 844-500-4242. What's your number, Dr. Matt?
978-948-8189.
All right. We'll be right back with Dr. Matt and your questions. Hang on, everybody. I'm Howie Carr.
Matthews Brothers with 1T, America's oldest window manufacturer. For over 8 years, we here at Matthews Brothers have ended every stupid commercial with that simple but repetitive spelling reminder. Even so, people come up to us every day and say, "Hey there, Mr. Man, were those Matthews Brothers fictional or were they real, like the Marx Brothers, the Wright Brothers, or the Blues Brothers?" We usually respond with, "Listen here, sister. 25 years before Tom Edison invented electricity, Spencer, Noah, and Sanford Matthews started making their first wicked awesome windows in Belfast, Maine. Being the clever fellas they were, they decided to call the company Matthews Brothers. Over the next 166 years, the company passed from the Matthews to the Frost to the Lang and finally to the Hawthorne family, who today are in their 3rd generation of leadership and management. This continuity has allowed us to maintain the Matthews Brothers traditions of superior quality, outstanding performance, and surprising affordability. You can learn more about our wicked awesome Maine-made windows and doors, but only at Better Lumberyards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. That's Matthews Brothers with 1T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
Jim Acosta, without a doubt, wins the competition for Trump's least favorite journalist of all time. Let's listen to some of their feistier moments.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Should I let him have a little bit more? What do you think, Peter? Peter, should I let him have a little bit more? Sit down. I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine...
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you...
When I raise money... Excuse me. I've watched you on television. You're a real beauty. Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question. Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried...
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, what do you say to your critics who say that you're concocting a national emergency here in order to get your wall because you couldn't get it through other ways?
Moms, what do you think? Do you think I'm creating something? Ask these incredible women who lost their daughters and their sons, because your question is a very political question, because you have an agenda. You're CNN. You're fake news.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. hairman.com/Howie.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
So now you've broken your elbow. Have you ever broken any other bones?
When I was 8 years old, I broke my leg. I was playing touch football in Portland, and a big kid, a 15-year-old, tackled me. When I was in my 30s, I was going down the stairs, and one of the kids' toys was on the stairs, and I tripped on it and broke my foot. I lost a tooth playing touch football when I was just out of Deerfield. I got smacked in the jaw. My tooth went up, and I still have a bridge, a crown from that mishap. I have a replacement hip, and now I have a bunch of pins in my left elbow.
When do you plan to retire?
I don't plan on retiring. As an old football coach once said, once you retire, there's only one big moment left. You know what that is.
Here's 1 minute of CNN's Don Lemon.
What do you say to those Trump voters who prioritize the economy over the president's bigotry?
I have a big announcement, and it's somewhere on my body.
Because the biggest purveyor of fake news is the president in this country, because he does it a lot. I'm just going to speak from the heart here. What we have witnessed was a total eclipse of the fact.
If you thought I went hard in 2019, watch 2020, baby. There's more to come. I'm a soldier. I'm ready to fight.
Talking about the cost of this parade and where there would be tanks, right? And would there be nuclear weapons? Americans, are you mad as hell? I wouldn't normally address this. As a journalist, I don't really like being the story here. Kanye West, entitled to his own opinion, but is not very bright and not very, when it comes, I'm talking about this issue, not overall. So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Here's a text for Gretchen. She's the one who said she hasn't had any luck adopting a pet. We adopted a wonderful little mutt from Mississippi through Nisha. I don't know what NISHA. Do you know what that is? They have a wonderful relationship with a rescue group in Mississippi. The program is called Land to Sea Pet Rescue.
There you go.
Okay, so Gretchen, there you go. There's another option.
Yeah, there's so many small rescues now, and really, if you look around and apply to a bunch of them, I think you'll hit the right one.
Yeah. 844-500-4242. Kathleen, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Kathleen. You there?
Hi, Howie. Hi, Dr. Matt.
Hi, Kathleen.
I have a 11-year-old West Highland Terrier, who's the sweetest dog. And we do brush her. Well, I brush her every night. And over the last few months, what's been happening is on the front of her paws.
Yeah.
When I brush, she pulls away. She has been letting me do it, but for the last few nights, I've actually had to stop.
Yeah. Okay.
Because she growls. She growls at me, but she's not a growler, and
right.
She kind of like gums me with her teeth, so I know I'm not doing a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an indication. Okay, so is she licking at her feet at all, or is it just she's objecting to you brushing her?
She licks very seldomly.
Okay,
I would say.
Okay, and she's not having any problems with walking or anything like that, because at this age they can have arthritis in their joints and wrist, or their wrist bones are probably near where you're brushing.
So West Highland, that's not that old. Is that old for a West Highland Terrier?
Well, it's not ancient. However, you're expecting some geriatric issues at 11, and terriers kind of want what they want anyway. I mean, it certainly could be something as simple as the old physician's joke, "Hey doc, it hurts when I do this." Well, then don't do that.
Right.
And so certainly you don't want to brush. You don't want to do what your dog doesn't want to have done. And I don't think brushing their feet is critically important. So, but I would be wary at 11 that there could be arthritis issues, and I think at this point I'd at least go ahead and have it evaluated.
Okay, thank you, Kathleen.
Yeah, so she does have arthritis. Oh, okay.
Oh, she does. Okay.
Thanks,
yeah. Okay. Thank you, Kathleen. 844-500-4242. Shannon, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Shannon.
Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure.
I have a problem with my poodle. He's 13 years old, and he suddenly has a limp.
Yep.
And
front or
I've
back?
taken him the front paw,
Okay.
his front right paw, and I've taken him for x-rays.
Yeah.
They couldn't really find anything. They're chalking it up to maybe arthritis, and they're treating him for that, but I really, in my gut, don't think it's just arthritis.
Sure. And when you treated him, did he get immediately better, or did you notice any real improvement?
No, they've been giving him Remedil,
Yeah.
but then his liver enzymes were high,
Sure.
so they took him off Remedil and put him on Galliprant.
Yep. Both are very good pain relievers. But generally, I think of, even when I'm sort of seeing a lame dog and want to evaluate them for arthritis, one of the things you can try them on is one of these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs that you've been using. But usually they will improve pretty rapidly. If they're not improving, I think you might want to think about, barking up another tree. I think your intuition might be right that this is either arthritis plus something or more, or something different.
Thank you, Shannon. By the way, we got another text. Nisha, that stands for Nantucket Island Safe Harbor Animal Shelter.
I would not have gotten that one.
I know we did not know that. Thank you for the follow up, because that's solved our problem and it solved Gretchen's problem too. Nantucket Island Safe Harbor Animal Shelter. Nisha. Okay, 844-500-4242. Tom, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Tom.
Hello, Howie.
Hi.
Hi, my wife and I, we work with a shelter in Arkansas, ulpr.org, Unconditional Love Pet Rescue, and we've already saved about 5,000 dogs, and if people go online, they can live stream and see Diane's pets. She's given up pretty much her whole life to save all these animals. And
wow, what is it? What is it? ulpr.org?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is. And amazing woman. I'm honest to God. I mean, she's given up her life to take care of dogs that people surrender, or we picked up little animals that are like strayed or out in the woods out there in Arkansas, and bring them back.
You're really right. Yeah, the people down there should be sainted.
Really? So it's how what do you have to do if you is that an Arkansas? Is that a Razorback dog that's barking there, Tom?
Yeah, I wish, but no. I mean, but Diane is Ferguson. She's a fantastic woman. She gives her whole heart and soul to to save these animals. And I mean, we have, I mean, all of my close friends and family. Oh God, we probably have like 40, 50 dogs from out there in Massachusetts.
Yep.
Okay, we'll check. We'll tell her to check that out. ulpr.org, and apparently Tom says you can live stream and just see these dogs, and just maybe pick one out if you're having a problem down here up here, because we know that the pounds were pretty much cleaned out, weren't they, during the height of this thing?
People really took it upon themselves to go ahead and adopt dogs and cats. It was really terrific. So
yeah. Okay, thanks for that tip, Tom. So Gretchen's got a couple of leads here, George, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, George.
Hey, Howie, I love your show. I've been listening for a long time.
Thank you.
I've got a 9-year-old pug with wicked bad breath.
Yes.
Teeth. I'm going to say teeth. I'm going to say teeth.
Can I leave? Howie's taking over this segment.
But am I right?
Absolutely correct. That's the first place I'd look. Yeah.
Yeah. So explain to him what his options are.
Well, I mean, you should bring this dog to a veterinarian to be evaluated. Cleaning their teeth is pretty straightforward. Pugs are a little bit of a danger to put under anesthesia, but we do it anyway because cleaning their teeth and getting their rotten teeth out of there is really going to help their comfort and help their breath and help their health.
Yeah, and what we had to do was both Pearl and Gunnar had to have most of the teeth taken out as time went on. So I think that's the way it's headed, George. But maybe you can get away with just having them the teeth cleaned one or two more times.
Yeah, at 9. Yeah.
Yeah, before you have to make that step.
Right.
But I noticed with Gunnar and Pearl both, they still kept eating the meat. I just had to cut it up a little finer. That's all to make.
I tell my clients it's not going to prevent your dog from going out and killing their dinner. Right? It has no effect on that whatsoever.
All right, George. Thanks. Glad I could be of help. Mariana, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Mariana.
Hey.
Hi.
So, we just rescued a kitten from a restaurant that specialized in seafood and Hispanic food, and she's about 6 months old, and she seems healthy. Otherwise, she has a good appetite, but she's been having very borderline diarrhea.
Yep.
Stool, but it's I'd say the consistency of soft serve ice cream, and I was just wondering if
has the kitten been to the veterinarian yet?
No, we just got her a couple days ago.
Yeah, got to go right away. Most of these kittens will have parasites that the veterinarian can deal with pretty quickly. And at this age, certainly needs a rabies. It's usually an oral liquid, but they certainly need their vaccinations too. Distemper and rabies, most importantly. Rabies, very importantly. So please make an appointment as quickly as you can and get them seen by a veterinarian.
Yeah, I made the appointment for her to get spayed and all those, but should I make an emergency appointment?
Well, I think that you should consult your veterinarian, tell them what's going on. They may just go ahead and prescribe a worm medication for you, or they may want to see him, and it's sort of their choice at this point. Veterinarians will have a different decision making process, but many of them will just prescribe it for you.
Thanks, Mariana. Good luck. Gary, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Gary.
Hey, Dr. Mack. Hi, Howie.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Listen, I've got a 13-and-a-half-year-old Sheltie. She's been diagnosed now with a collapsed trachea.
Yes.
I've got her taking some medications. I was just calling to see if you had any ideas on what treatments there might be for her.
Yeah, so collapsing trachea is one of those diseases where you're highly unlikely to find a cure. You're going to try to manage this. And so I approach this as multi-drug management. Veterinarians, there's 48 drugs out there that veterinarians will use, but the ones I sort of count on are a good cough suppressant, which is usually an opiate. So I like Hycodan. That's the one I typically use. I try to use, put the dog or give them an injection of a chondroitin MSM or glucosamine supplement, so it will help strengthen their trachea. And then you can actually use a product that helps sort of decrease the sensitivity of the nerves in their trachea. It's called Tessalon Pearls, and you can give that to them, and that seems to help too. Some of these dogs wind up needing surgery. Tessalon Pearls, yeah. And That's an old-time medication. It's actually a lidocaine.
Is it
type
trachea
of product.
that's serious, though?
Well, what happens when the trachea shuts down, you do have a little bit of trouble moving air. So they'll
But isn't that just sort of
No, this is beyond that, where the trachea actually flattens out, and so they'll cough to pop it back open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay, so it is more serious.
Yeah, and it's a weakness in the tracheal cartilage, and that happens with age, and we deal with it in quite a few older dogs.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Farmer John says, does Dr. Matt have a suggestion for Australian healer rescues? What is that? What's an Australian healer?
You got me.
You know,
I don't know for being played, but
I don't know either. But Farmer John texts all the time, so I don't think we're.
I don't think it's. Yeah, some breeds are just aren't popular enough to have their own rescue. So
right. Okay, so sorry about that, Farmer John. We can't help you there. Ann, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Ann.
Hey, Dr. Matt. I'm calling about my 14-year-old cat, or about 14.
Yep.
We found her years ago in our backyard, and all of a sudden she's not eating, and she's very thin. So I started mixing wet food in with her regular food.
Sure.
And that only doesn't work that much anymore. She
Yeah.
just eats a little.
Yeah.
She's probably eating a quarter cup of food a day.
yeah. What's her drinking? What's her water consumption like?
Good.
Okay.
Water consumption is
Okay. So this is definitely something that needs to be evaluated by a veterinarian. You know, there's certain old age cat diseases we sort of think of, you know, I call them the four horsemen of the feline apocalypse, and it's, you know, cancers and thyroid disease and diabetes and so, you know, you need to look at one of those. So kidney disease, diabetes, cancer, and thyroid disease. So usually one of those.
Good luck, Ann. 844-500-4242. Dr. Matt is with us. What's your phone number if people want to call you when you're in service?
My clinic is the Ipswich Animal Hospital, and we're at 978-948-8189.
All right. We'll be right back. I'm Howie Carr.
Don't touch that dial. Howie Carr will be back after this.
Do you have no water, poor water quality, or low pressure? This is Howie Carr. Call the local water service experts, Skillings & Sons. They're ready with 24-hour service with no extra charge for after-hours calls, and a fleet of trucks stocked with parts to make sure you're not without water. With over 50 years of experience, they take pride in having a family of employees that are the best in the business. For all things water, Skillings & Sons is there for you. SkillingsandSons.com. Nauset Beach Inn, the only lodging in the Cape Cod National Seashore, has started their fall special. For only $199 a night in October, you can have an ocean view room with 2 queen beds. Nauset Beach Inn is pet-friendly for an additional charge. Social separation is simple. Every room opens to their 4-acre lawn with easy self-check-in and out. Reserve your room today and see the beautiful Cape Cod National Seashore before the rooms are all gone. Still a few rooms left in September as well. Reserve now at nausetbeachinn.com.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
Someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of my staff.
When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about this experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt, tears of rage.
Would you just stop being so dramatic?
I'm a big believer that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
We all shop online, and now you could do it a better way with Honey. Honey is the free online shopping tool that automatically finds the best promo codes and applies them to your cart. Just download Honey to your computer and shop on all your favorite websites like normal. When you check out, just click the Apply Coupons button that pops up. Wait a few seconds for Honey to scan its database of all the working coupons on the web. Then watch your price drop. Honey works on nearly every online store, including Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Macy's, Etsy, and more. And Honey has found over $2 billion in savings for its users. That's why it has over 100,000 five-star reviews on the Google Chrome store. It's 100% free to use and installs in seconds. Plus, it's backed by PayPal, so you know it's secure and reliable. Not using Honey is literally passing up free money. So get Honey for free today at joinhoney.com/Howie. That's joinhoney.com/Howie.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
We went to the White House for the Christmas party. In your opinion, what was the highlight?
The highlight of my trip to the White House with Grace, there were two. Number one, when we walked into Trump International Hotel, which she'd been dreaming of going to, and her eyes were wide. And then when the president actually came down the stairs, her eyes were even wider. She was so in awe of being there. I really felt like King Farouk, you know? I felt like I was giving someone a really great gift that they couldn't get otherwise.
You've had some really good interviews over the years. Which one was your favorite?
I can't really say what the best interview I ever had, but one that just occurred to me was Jesse Helms, the senator from North Carolina. I interviewed him one time, and he went to high school with my mother in Monroe, North Carolina. And the first words out of his mouth were, "Howie, I know your mother before you knew your mother."
This is Mark in Williston, Vermont.
This is Marie in Somerville, Massachusetts.
This is Mike from South Attleboro, Mass. And this is the Howie Carr Show.
This pet segment is brought to you by Genesis 950. I know a lot of you have issues with your dogs and cats having accidents around the house. We've been hearing about it tonight, as always. In fact, I'm sure we're going to hear all about it. We have been. But before you get a new carpet, try Genesis 950. You can use it in a carpet cleaning machine, and it's green, so it's safe for family and pets. Order a gallon direct at genesis950.com. Enter code Howie to get more than a $10 value in savings, including a spray bottle and free shipping. That's genesis950.com. Enter code Howie. Genesis950.com, code Howie. So let's take a few more calls here for Dr. Matt. Again, the number is 844-500-4242. Someone says it's a Australian cattle dog. That's what they call it.
There we go.
What Farmer John was calling an Australian healer. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the most driven dogs. I mean, there's dogs that feel a sense of duty, but Australian cattle dogs are driven like no others to herd.
Really?
They will herd your children,
more than
your dogs.
Border Collie or Shetland Sheepdog?
Border Collie might be close, but a cattle dog is the highest drive I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah. Will not quit. There's no quit in a cattle dog. So
yeah, I remember seeing a Border Collie way back when. I couldn't believe it. I had a Shetland Sheepdog, and that was kind of like, it was a little bit of that, but not like
and these
a Border
cattle
Collie.
These cattle dogs are 35, 40 pounds, and they're cattle dogs, right? You know, they're not sheepdogs.
Yeah.
So they're moving cattle around. They got to be tough.
They're faster.
Faster and a little bit, saltier.
Dana, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Dana.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I'll try to give as many details quick as I can. So we have this cat, Sheba. She's 9 years old. She seems to get stomach upset sometimes after she eats. One day, she was foaming at the mouth late at night. Foam was coming out of her mouth. Wasn't eating. We took her to a clinic, and they did X-rays and ultrasound and everything, and they said she might either has irritable bowel syndrome or she might have cancer in her intestines.
Yes.
And they also said one of her lungs looked suspect. We had to force feed her or feed her with a syringe for a while. We got her eating again, gave her fluids and everything, but she can't eat like solid food. She can only eat cat pate, and if you give her anything else, she starts choking. We have to hold her upside down, and then she spits out foam and saliva.
Yeah. So,
what do you think that might be?
Her vomiting may have caused something in her esophagus. This actually sounds more like an esophagus problem than a GI problem, although it certainly could be both. Older cats with long-term vomiting issues, it's very, very common that they have either inflammatory bowel disease that can become GI lymphoma, so lymphoma in their intestine. But I think what your cat has in addition to that is maybe an esophageal stricture or something like that, and you need to have them sort of reevaluated. In even the test I would do for this is called an endoscopy, and an upper GI endoscopy to look for this.
All right, thanks. Good luck, Dana. Sharon, you're next with Howie Carr and Dr. Matt. Go ahead, Sharon.
Hi, how are
Hi.
you guys tonight?
Good.
Good. So I have a 14-year-old chocolate lab, not a chocolate lab, but a brown lab.
Okay.
And we just found out that she has melanoma.
Right. Where?
It's in her mouth and it's on her gum line.
Right.
And the vet says possibly it's not very big. It's probably about as big as a grape.
Okay.
And the vet says that we have about 4 weeks.
Sure. No, 4 weeks left, or 4 weeks to do something.
4 weeks. 4 weeks left.
Okay. Did they do X-rays or anything like that? Did they see X-rays in her lung, tumor in her lungs, or anything like that?
They didn't. They just did a piece of the melanoma that's on her mouth.
Yeah. So
and confirmed that it is melanoma, and they said that they were pretty sure that it's probably throughout her body because of the type of melanoma.
Okay.
And it wouldn't be safe to put her under.
Okay. So, I mean, if you wanted to evaluate that further, you know, there's plenty of referral places that have cancer specialists. There's actually still a lot you can do with melanoma. I'm not saying that your dog is necessarily the appropriate candidate.
Should she get a second opinion?
I think a second opinion does make sense. There are actually vaccines for melanoma, and there's plenty of drug therapy for melanoma and surgical therapy. So I definitely would, if, you know, at 14, you want to be pragmatic. You don't want to be too crazy because 14 is very aged. But I think you have some options.
Okay, we're out of time. Sorry we couldn't get to all the callers. Dr. Matt, your phone number one more time.
At the Ipswich Animal Hospital, I'm at 978-948-8189.
Okay, and thanks again for taking such good care of Gunnar. We'll see you next month. I'm Howie Carr. AmeriClean Sanitizing is providing state-of-the-art sanitation for your home or business. Using the HaloSil fogging system, it is able to kill 428 different viruses, including COVID. Hospitals have been using the HaloSil fogging system for years, and now you can too. The fog sanitizes everything, including keyboards, under the desk, and even HVAC systems. To schedule an appointment or learn more, go to AmeriCleanSanitizing.com. Take a look at their videos at AmeriCleanSanitizing.com and see how easy it is to kill the virus.
There's a lot to love